That will connect the killer instinct from Smash for the immediate follow-up, and Casey gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I think after this game number one, as D plus Kia, they look ready to win WC.
Fantastic game one from DK. They had them pushed in every single lane. Tuan doing some good damage, but it's not gonna be enough to save game one. I liked KC's resilience, how much they fought back, but DK remained in control, they remained calm, and they kept pressuring, and it was especially when they got that first Nasher that I felt like the game opened wide for KC.
I think in some ways, I want to champion how well D plus Kia played through that mid to late game, because we've often seen this team stumble there. We've often seen this team not close games out because they're not ready to make that tough call on Baron. But also, I want to say, Casey, like you said, they kept looking, they kept fishing, and a lesser team would have been caught by so many of those Busio flanks, would have gotten punished. And I think we're in for a great series here. Sure, this was a game that was always going to be volatile. D plus pulled ahead. It got really hard for KC, but it was a good game one. It was very close, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of this BO5 has in store for us.
And there's also the point of the draft makes such a huge difference. I think KC were playing around what they had very, very well, but I think it could be better moving into the second game. Speaking of which, though, we have Digon alongside to break down that first one.
Thank you very much, guys. It is the LCK squad striking first here. D plus Kia take the victory in game number one, much to the chagrin of the blue wall of Carmine Corp. But it is 1-0 D plus.
And I think the approach that they went with the draft, they were just talking about the casters, was really inventive. The fact that they had this Tristana into the Vayne, who also has the Buster shot against the Camille. You look at the composition of KC, Camille, Galio with the Ziggs on top, you know what the game plan is, but two of the enemy carries can build stasis with a Seeker's Arm Guard, which they got later in the game, and the other one has the Buster shot to break the Camille out. And I think that meant it was actually really difficult for KC when they fell behind, because a lot of their attempts just didn't quite work out.
I feel like we've seen a lot of Lee Sins today that can't really quite get access into the backline, the taunts, the Seekers that Oaks mentioned earlier. It pretty much becomes that this champion gets really strong in the early game, but late game he just becomes a kick, and if you cannot find that either, it's kind of like a 4v5.
Let's take a look at some of the replays here, starting off on the bottom side of the map where Kaisa was the protagonist in this one.
I mean, I gotta say, DK was kind of greedy to picking up Kaisa and Victor in the same team against Ziggs Camille, but this attempt that they tried to kill Kaisa on the bot lane, it didn't work out, and I think this helped DK to have so much space in the early game with the scaling picks.
And it's crazy that they use these big tools to make that play happen. It's unsuccessful, and yet they still go for the fight afterwards. And they also just commit the Lee Sin kick there to take out Korea. And in the extended fight, they end up losing out because look at the health bars, the tools aren't available, and Smash is back on full HP to pick up the kills.
They have the burst damage, they have the one-shot combination, but after all, you just have to deal with the Victor Kaisa chasing you down here.
Yeah, and you can see the thinking, right? If we eliminate one of these targets on the opposite side, that makes our Drake fight easier. But as you said, Ox, you didn't have those cooldowns. You then lose the ensuing fight because it goes longer, and that Kaisa still lived. A tough spot for KC to be on. Then later on here, 28 minutes, much further down the fight, the Drakes were starting to stack up here against KC.
Yeah, there'd been a lot of control from D+, just picking up picks into objectives. Here they look for Showmaker trying to take him out, but the stasis, the value of this disrupting that engage, you lose half your health bar. With the Kaisa, you can still function from a distance with the W, but when the engage comes in, you can go in and follow up and instantly make the play. You also have a lot of tools to dodge abilities. I do agree with what we did said. I think the laning phase can also be always be a little bit delicate if you're picking Kaisa into the likes of Ziggs, but if you get through that, which they did manage to, then you're really powerful in those 5v5s.
Okay. I just felt like seeing them versus T1 and how well coordinated they were. I felt like Busio and Yike really truly made the difference in that particular series, and I just didn't quite see Busio on the same page as Yike in this one, particularly since you really need to get that Lee Sin ahead. It just didn't happen. So maybe they'll just roll back a little bit more on comfort champions to just get that spark back for Game 2.
Especially because that was a high priority pick for both of them on that Lee Sin. Lucid very deadly with it. Yike having the opportunity to play it, and Lucid on tank duty, and still not to be able to get over the hump feels like a pick wasted. We're not in best of threes anymore. We are in best of fives with it.
I mean, for me, Kamikov is one of the team that who has LCK playstyle when it comes to LEC, right? So I feel like they can just fit in just like DK is doing right now. So just put the classic carry on the Khalees and stabilize the game with your strong laners, who is Yehu in the mid lane and also Kanna top side.
All right, now before we're back with game number 2 of Karmine Corp versus D plus Kia, don't forget Season 2 of Level Up, the EWC documentary.
Alek, yo. Wah. Wah, nge-lag kacau.
Is live now on Prime Video.
In Korea, you are either a winner or you're a loser.
This would be the first reverse sweep in an international finals.
History will be made as two titans collide.
안녕하세요. D+ 기아 미드 맡고 있는 쇼메이커스라고 합니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 D+ 기아에서 정글을 맡고 있는 루시드 최영혁이라고 합니다.
네, 저희가 이번에 또 EWC 하게 되어서 또 파리로 온 만큼 이번에 한번 프랑스 음식을 먹고 한번 평가해보는 시간 가져보도록 하겠습니다. 그냥 칩인데? 감자칩?
맞아? 프랑스 국민 과자인가?
뭐지?
치즈칩, 치즈.
냄새를 한번 맡아볼게요.
생긴 건데, 냄새가
냄새가 쉽지 않은데요?
과자에서 이런 냄새가 날 수 있나?
어떤가요?
응? 냄새랑 다른 맛이 나는데? 아닌가? 약간 우유 맛이 나는 느낌인데?
몇 점 주시겠어요?
저는 한 8.5점?
8.5점?
저는 진짜 맛있습니다.
저는 제 취향이 아니라서 2점 줄게요. 좀 제가 이렇게 뭔가
어떤 부분에서
좀 느끼한 것 같아요.
그래요?
제가 치즈를 막 엄청 선호하지 않아서. 오,
이거는 뭐죠? 이거 그냥 빵인가?
미니 쇼콜라?
안에 건포도인가 이거?
그냥 빵집에서 파는 빵 냄새가 납니다. 일단
무슨 맛이에요?
맛있는데요?
프랑스 콜라인데 초코 들어있는 거. 와, 아니 너무 맛있는데요?
맛있네요. 제가 또 빵을 좋아해서 맛있습니다. 응? 뭐야 이번에는 그냥 음료수인데?
Iya, tim BU.
오렌지 주스.
Tim gaji belum dibayar, Bang. Bang, udah Bang, gaji belum dibayar, Bang.
그냥 오렌지 주스 냄새 납니다. 먹어볼게요. 그냥 오렌지 주스에 탄산 들어가 있는 느낌?
말 그대로 그런 것 같아요.
맛있습니다. 이것도 8점.
한 7점?
왜 감점됐죠 얘는?
그냥 그저 그런 것 같습니다.
그저 그렇다. 저는 맛있었어요.
Ini kalau tim BU ya, tim BU dapat ini.
뭐지?
Tim BU
치즈케이크 같은데요?
kelar.
일단 되게 맛있는
Kan tim BU menang ya. Kalau tim BU menang ini, tim video kan.
맛있다.
Fix.
케이크는 아닌 거죠?
Kapan lagi tim BU menang, coy?
전
Menang turnamen dunia lagi anjir. Lagi BU baru turnamen
not
dunia
nice
menang.
start.
Dulu waktu masih
저는 이거
waktu belum namanya Kia ini ya.
와,
Dulu udah BU juga kan.
굉장히 맛있고
이게 더
namanya
느끼한 것
masih belum
같은데요?
nama
다
Kia, masih
드신다고요?
Damwon.
끝나고
menang
몇 개 더
Wolves.
가져갈게요.
Kan memang pas BU dia.
전 빵을 더 갖고 싶긴 한데.
Sebut aja D plus Kia DK duit kali ya. Duit kami, nah DK.
소신.
duit sama dengan kehidupan.
달팽이네. 먹어보고 싶진 않아.
엄두가 나진 않네. 가위바위보?
냄새 한번.
가위바위보 진 사람이 냄새 나죠?
좋죠.
Kalau
가위바위보?
sing
안 내어진 거 가위바위보.
si TMBU ini belum.
Try it. Let's go.
Ini semoga formatnya yang ini nggak nge-lag lagi ya. Gue udah ngomongin bitrate anjing.
맡아봐.
Aja bitrate gue udah.
아, 뭐라 설명 못하겠네. 뭐 약간 안 좋은 냄새와 뭔가 그
바닷가 냄새 나는데.
뭔가 그런 느낌도 있고.
점수요? 저 10점이요.
왜요?
너무 맛있을 것 같은데 못 먹어서 너무 아쉽고요.
10점이라고요?
네, 저 한번 트라이 해보고 싶은데 너무 아쉬워요.
저도 10점 드릴게요.
이거
저는 프랑스 하면 또 생각나는 게 에스카로그기 때문에
안 좋아하실 것 같은데.
이게 제가 너무 먹고 싶었는데 또 괜히 대회에 지장이 생길까봐
그렇죠.
나중에 한번 트라이 해보는 걸로 하겠습니다. 이렇게 한번 프랑스 요리 다양하게 한번 먹어봤는데요. 되게 맛있었던 것도 많아서 되게 재밌었던 시간이고 앞으로 EWC에서 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Kamsahamnida. Mumpung ini frame-nya belum ya, kita ulangnya.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EWC 2026. D Plus Kia lead the series 1-0, but this is a best of 5. They're going to have to lock in for at least another 2 games if they want to come away with that trophy.
Hopefully another 4, but we'll have to see what KC, how much of a fight they can put up. As game number 1, the draft was difficult to execute. They tried their hardest, but they weren't able to find the picks that the draft needed to be able to find that win. And DK were really disciplined, not giving KC that angle, showing a much higher, more consistent DK than we've seen in, what, years? I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah, it really has been. Honestly, since Canyon left this roster, the team has changed a lot. It's been a revolving door of players outside of Lucid, and this is the most consistent they've looked since their 2020-2021 days. It's just only in the microcosm of this tournament. You know, LCK fans are praying that they'll win this and they'll take it to the LCK, but there's still a lot more EWC left to play.
This is the ridiculous thing, because DK also managed to clinch Legend Group. They were celebrating out of their minds that they made top 5 in the LCK, and they got very, very close to not getting there as well. I mean, the stars had to align to make sure that that happened, and from that point, they have now made it all the way here to the grand final of EWC for 2026. And yeah, I mean, Ian Chambers was talking about Cinderella stories and how one of them has to end. It'd be crazy to see either of these teams walk away with this trophy, as already we have a bunch of bans to come on through, the Jace, the Poppy, and the Syndra, all understandable here on D+'s side, as there is the Vi being taken away from Lucid. Always does need to be removed, as well as that Orianna that seems to be largely permaban throughout this this tournament.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cassiopeia. Because DK banned the Syndra themselves, it makes me think that they might want to first pick the Cassio. Victor as well being out, Orianna, as you say, Atlas. I think Cassio doesn't have a whole lot of answers. You can go the Anivia into it, but a lot of players have felt very comfortable playing that, especially with the fact that you can flex the Cassiopeia into the bot lane as well.
I wonder what this LeBlanc signifies, the ban here by KC. Obviously, Showmaker is a great LeBlanc player. It's a niche pick for him, but he will dominate lane and often just take over the entirety of Summoner's Rift with it. But drafting it this, or banning it this early, in the past, in the LCK specifically, would signify maybe an Azir pick or something like that, but it just makes the Cassiopeia first pick so free here as well.
But I wonder if maybe they're worried that if DK go Cassio first pick and KC answer with the Anivia, then LeBlanc can have a very chill time into that Anivia pick. So that's what I assume Yehu is going to go for here, and then probably a jungle pairing for Yike, probably the Jarvan, as that pairs well with the Anivia and good into the Immobile. Actually, I forgot about Bard.
Yeah, Lucio Bard. It's Lucio's Bard as well. He is so incredibly good at this champion. An understandable pickup if that's paired alongside the Ezreal as well for Kalist that he has had so much success on so far this tournament. That is a phenomenal core to start things off for KC in this draft.
I mean, it was the main reason that KC was able to win game number 2 against T1 was Busio on Bard and Kalist on Ezreal. Busio had like 6 kills on the Bard. He was just roaming around the map, doing so much work. And there's the Anivia for Yehu up against this Cassiopeia, but now Lucid gets his hands on the Jarvan.
Yeah, and now you could go Jarvan Ezreal here, in theory.
You could.
Pick it away.
You could also go for the Gnar pick because some of those answers have been taken away here and just go for your solo lanes locked up and then look for Smash and career based on the rest of the draft here for D plus Kia. I think the Jarvan is the most likely pick here.
I like the Gnar because then you get to keep the Cassio flex as well, and because, as you say, so many of the picks are out, I think it's a really smart strategy if DK decide to go for it, especially considering Kana is the Gnar guy, you know?
Yeah,
Yay!
It's
back,
here,
bro.
All things considered, the one that I think would be quite strong for you. Not known necessarily for his Gnar play, nowhere near players like Kana or Zeus on this pick, but definitely one he's played a lot in the past. He's been great at shutting it down as well. I think he's a little bit more famous.
He's more
for
of an
that.
anti-Gnar rather than the actual Gnar player himself, but he has had some games on it, of course. There is that Ezreal that we were talking about, great into the Jarvan as well, so really does feel like it serves double duty. Not only is it a great lane alongside the Bard that you can get out of a Cataclysm, which is going to feel great. And Kalist, pretty good at this particular champion.
Kalist can definitely be happy, but Kana might be a bit worried now as they get 2 bans to invest into Kana to take away any sort of Gnar answer he would have. I'm assuming maybe something like the Ambessa ban, or you can go even further and try to ban out even more ranged tops, but I feel like since we've left the Tristana and Vayne, probably just banning out more generic bruisers that Kana could pick into this Gnar.
Yeah, Varus and Twisted Fate.
Varus, actually Kana does play the Varus. I could see that being a potential.
I think
he doesn't play it that well, but he does play
Bruiser
it.
junglers feels good too because they don't really have a backbone of their composition just yet. So taking away the Xin feels really good here. They have the Jarvan on their side. Obviously no Lee Sin, no Skarner. So we'll see what Yike is looking for in this draft. We saw the Kiana paired with this Anivia in that semi-final match to great success, but I don't think this is necessarily that kind of draft. Nautilus is gone. I think that's a great ban here because it's one of the best ways to lock an Ezreal down.
It was an incredibly similar draft that Yike played with Kiana, though. It was literally these first 3 picks, and KC decided, we're not going to have a front line, we're just going to play this like a pick comp, and just put up the Anivia wall, put the Kiana wall, put the Tempered Fate from Bard, and poke you out from range and never give you that normal standard team fight. And they were able to execute it against T1, so I feel like doubling down on it, I would like it.
And they ban it, so we're all on the same page here, I think.
I guess.
As we'll see what KC decide to do now, as they really do need something explosive here for setup. And
is it just the Varus? I actually really wouldn't mind it for Kana towards that top side of the map, and you can pick it away. Otherwise, Smash might be able to take that himself. Obviously, locking in a jungler does give you the ability to understand exactly what you're up against and then pick accordingly for the top side.
In a theory, fulfills a similar role as the Kiana.
Okay,
your goal is to just
picknya
one-shot
sekarang
whatever
kalau
target
dari
you first
DK.
come across. I like the fact that they're delaying
best of
top
3
until 5, because
Bukannya
that way
final
Kana
best
can
of
see
5
all 5 champions here and locking something that's good. The
Oh, yeah,
worry I
final.
have about Varus is I feel like if Kana makes one mistake, Lucid can just cap top and make him completely irrelevant in the game, especially if DK decides to lock in a strong bot lane.
I think there were 3 strong options here. One of the third one might raise some eyebrows when I say it, but there's the Caitlyn, there's the Varus that you could have played with the Ezreal, and there's also the Kalista. I feel like when you have this Cassiopeia, you could have looked for a winning Kalista push, but instead, Caitlyn lucks to come out here. For career, we've seen this before, and Smash is an amazing Caitlyn player. Picked up the slack in the Challenger squad. It was swapping between Guma, obviously, as well, and learned from the best, right? Yeah. Back on T1. Very, very strong on this pick, and it is going to be a risky mid-game with this, but when we get to the late game with 3 scaling options here, including the Gnar, D+ have a lot of late game power.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of the EU fans understand just how good Smash is.
This is the new Gnar counter pick. It's coming up. It's a thing.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting to see whether KC can play through Kana towards that top side, but we do have Ian standing alongside who's managed to find an absolute prophet in the audience.
Absolutely, of course, there's an overwhelming amount of KC support in here. It's obvious we're in Paris, but DK has its fans too. DK fans, how we doing?
By the way,
they're feeling good.
dia juga punya kamera lain.
They're feeling good. Wow. This is loud down here. So Helen, listen, you've got an amazing story because you downloaded the EWC app and you made a prediction a while ago. What did you predict?
So basically, there's an EWC app which is super awesome, and they closed their entry for the Pick'em tournament winner this Tuesday. And who I picked, of course, is Deep with 0% selection. I can show you.
So you knew right from the start you had so much belief in this team. Now, you are in a very hostile environment. The French are loud and proud. How intimidating are they?
Well, I don't really hear anything, to be honest, isn't it? To be honest, everyone knows that Showmaker is good at where he is facing the home ground. So, you know what? Today's gonna be the Parry Library. We all know this, right?
Make it through that entire interview. And here we are ready to get onto the Rift for game number 2 of this best of 5 to see who is going to be able to lift this EWC trophy. And here we go. All right, Case now lock in, definitely working out, but with the Olaf there towards the top side, I think that Kana has a lot of agency in this game.
Yeah, I think if Kana is off to a good early game, he can really take over team fights, because Lux is not going to be able to do anything against them. And Jarvan, he can commit the Cataclysm, but that's not who you want the Jarvan ulting in a team fight. So I feel like if Kana is able to find a flank, he can really, really do some damage, but it's up to Smash and Career to really stomp this bot lane, because that's why you're playing Caitlyn Lux. You pick this Lux over the Karma to go for the flash kill level 1, to really get plates, to get strong, because 20 minutes into the game, you'd always rather have the Karma with the Mantra shields and the movement speed that she provides, but Lux provides more early game pressure, so it's up to Career to make that happen.
Yeah. See how this top lane goes, because we've seen this matchup be super volatile as well. This one is more pivotal here at level 1, but it's been a matchup we've talked about so much more recently. You know, Atlas and I were talking about the first time we saw this tournament. I initially kind of thought, well, if you're perfect with the Gnar, the Olaf shouldn't be able to do anything, but it just hasn't worked out that way. As Showmaker's going to take a huge chunk here, but we'll be fine. As if you hit an undertow, you hit another undertow, you run into Gnar, you've got Ghost. As Showmaker continue to trade level 2.
Yeah, that Noxious Blast, if that had landed, yeah, it might have just been dead. Is drinking his potion, Showmaker doing the same thing. The Snake Lady definitely feeling very comfortable at this stage of the matchup. Wave is going to crash towards the turret though, and it looks like Yehu is going to be all right for the minute. Yike on his Wolves now as the Raptors have now been taken. Whoa, so the flash out of the way here from Showmaker, avoiding the stun. Out of this Anivia.
I think keep health. I think they want to challenge jungle here with the prio that Showmaker has.
Showmaker thought that Yike could be in range to follow up on stun. Lucio is roaming here, but Lucid is trying to sneak away the Krugs. I wonder if Yike will... Does he know? He seems to know.
Yeah, he's just immediately going to bounce over there as the Smite from Lucid finds the Q for most of the little rocks there as well. So a decent early start here for DK, but I'm worried with that flash being down from Showmaker in the mid lane. These roams from Bucio that the Bard really wants to be doing could be absolutely deadly.
He's going to get to roam that much in this matchup, though. He's kind of locked in right now as Smash and Career going to crash this giant wave, and they know that Nafuri's top, so they can sit on this lane. If you don't know where the Nafuri is, you got to be cautious here, but because they do know, they're taking plate money.
One thing that's really nice about this Lux pick is that you really want to go teleport, so you can get a free recall early on. If you go teleport against the Lux, you're so vulnerable to that flash cosmic binding. So that's why Kalista ends up going for the cleanse, which means it's a harder early laning phase for him.
It doesn't have teleport, doesn't have the barrier either, obviously combat-wise, so just very vulnerable in this early game. As they look to punish this flashless Cassio, Showmaker is very aware of it and is willing to sacrifice a little bit of lane here in order to be safe.
I mean, Yehu is stepping forward with 300 less HP, so nice that Showmaker realizes. Yike needs to try to cross mid lane here and get that bot crab, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to get it just due to how strong DK's laners are, with Showmaker being full HP, bot lane being completely pushed in.
They're just getting miasma, taking a lot of damage here. Does still have the egg, which is why he can still play a little bit further forward, but might need to invite the doggo to come back towards this mid lane. Try and keep him alive. That will be that crab going down. Yak does collect that one for himself. It's Lucid. Gonna come on over, look to pick up his Raptor camp when it is respawning.
Ana's having a rough time.
Yeah, exactly. It's not feeling great at this stage of the matchup. Oh dear, Lucid going to get hit by these daggers. And Korea moves his way over, gets that shield out onto the Jarvan, gets a return as well, but there is an egg in the mid lane, and Showmaker is just biting into those Twin Fangs. Does manage to respawn. Now back to not a very high health bar. Now Kana looking to go aggressive. Off damage does come through, but there's the undertow, and here's the all in the flag.
That's why you picked the Olaf. Kana lands every undertow, flashes after Shiwu. He was struggling in the early game, down in CS, but now getting the solo kill, he can crash the wave and finally make some use out of this Olaf.
Was it before level 6?
Select dong.
He finds the right window there. It's enough damage and pops the ghost. So you can see right now, obviously a little bit low on health, but that's where Olaf wants to thrive here. Knows he can come in. Yes, there's going to be a hyper proc here. He tries to go for it, has to kite back left. And the follow flashes there. Great undertow accuracy there, of course, from Kana to set it all up. And he picks up a massive win here. First blood for KC.
You have to feel the crowd.
Gila, Tuan Rumah cuy.
Especially when you're playing Olaf. I feel like Olaf is a momentum champion. You know, you always need to click forward, always need to continue playing aggressive, even when you're low, even when you're struggling. As Busio wants to try to get a chunk on Showmaker here.
Showmaker able to slither his way out, but does still get
lumayan.
The stun out of Yahoo.
Not bad, bro.
I feel like Showmaker's had such a fantastic tournament.
Oh yeah.
And especially game 1 as well. It felt like for me it was the biggest difference maker. Maybe I jinxed him now.
Perhaps Lucid is up here towards his top side. Showmaker just going to slink on over towards him. So Busio, even on the return, unable to quite find the value here.
In a 2v2, Showmaker's ult way more valuable than the Anivia's as well. In that type of exchange. So I think as soon as that's it, it's just best to walk away. A lot of control here though for Lucid top side. He's got so much deep vision. And he's going to wrap back around. Meanwhile, Busio trying to find an angle here, but Smash and Career too safe.
Busio needs to be careful because he's paying a price every single time he goes for these roams. There's now 2 plates going over the side of this Caitlyn Lux. And a 10 CS lead for Smash. And if Busio continues roaming like this, suddenly Caitlyn can take that bot tower, swap up with the top lane, and just explode the whole game.
We see that oftentimes, especially if a gank goes off, you see a dive, then that happens every time, but Lucid's been patching holes elsewhere on the map. We'll be losing this Scuttle. And right now, this timing, they're looking to potentially start this drag, but they did not have a ton of control just yet.
Yeah, Career and Busio are in the area. We do see the flag going down to get information of this Cloud Drake being started potentially by Yike. Showmaker going to be catching this wave though, as tempo advantage does go towards KC, using that for a reset for the Anivia. And Career and Smash just continuing to walk towards this turret in the bottom lane and remove crockery every single time. Plates going over. That's a third one here in Smash's back pocket, moving him up to a 450 gold lead.
DK need to be a bit careful in bot lane though. They still don't have a ward. I was going to say that Yike's about to hit level 6, but he just decides to clear his topside camps. So there's not going to be a gank there available. Just wants to clear all those. And wait, Showmaker and Yike aren't going to find each other.
Could have been an interesting maneuver here.
Showmaker's
not sure where he's going.
Wrapped all the way around here.
I think, did Yike? I don't know if Yike spotted him. I think he was maybe in the bush. Otherwise, I feel like Yike would have tried to chase and delay his tempo, not let him recall. But still, he has to walk quite far, so he's going to lose some minions in mid. Speaking of losing minions, Kalista is struggling in bot lane.
Showmaker's not going to commit the TP, interestingly. He's just going to walk all the way back and sacrifice some CS here, put himself 300 gold behind in total as a result. As a plate, I believe. So yes, did go over to Yehu. Ooh, not going to matter.
The sneaky little trap hidden behind the turret. Very, very nice there from Smash, but Kalista not going to be dead as a result of that one. But as everything sort of settles and waves reset, it is still 2 waves in advantage here for Smash, as well as all of that plate money that went his direction. As Busio magically journeying over, does miss the Cosmic Binding though, and is now just going to take a lot of damage from these Twin Fangs on the return. Showmaker standing his ground quite well on this Cassiopeia here in this mid lane for now. Champion that he has had struggling times on in the past, but these scrubs have been started.
Shiu with an R-bar here. I think D+ should have control of this, and KC should just evacuate. Yike is staying very long.
Yeah, the house does fly on through as the flash out from Yike, not wanting to mess around at all.
They'll get 3 for 3 off of this, so a huge win here for D+.
Feels like DK is just winning every single lane and utilizing that pressure so well. Smash should know that Kana is here. So unless Kana does a crazy undertow, maybe could force the flash.
He's going to quite find that one, as the Ragnarok not going to be invested either. Shorts the undertow there. Career going to be able to come on over and help. There is a Lucent Singularity in the air. Peacemaker goes wide.
Very, very tightrope walk there. From
a lot of things just barely not hitting.
Yeah, very, very scary moment there, but he will be fine. No punish. Dragon still in the mix here, and finally it looks like Yike is going to have enough control to start this one up with the control they have in mid with yaaa. Career's going to try to go suss it out.
Stopping this Drake stacking from the Caitlyn Lux would be really good for KC, but
oh, the double stun from that life-binding smash. Finding the combo is Kalist. Is he getting soloed by Sheer? The flash and slaps him down. There is the solo kill for the Gnar. Showmaker going to get walled away, but you can see Yike down to sub 100. Canna is basically dead as he's going back to base. Very brave, as Yike is going to let his top laner live and somehow survive that ace in the hole.
It's an absolute disaster for KC. They get solo killed on top. They're not having the damage to deal to Drake. As we see how Shiu was able to pick up this solo kill. He dodges the Qs from Kalist. He has the damage, gets on the edge with the Mega Gnar ultimate.
And I'm not sure if that thumbs up was to signify you got me or I got away, but it was on the edge. And either way, it's a thumbs down from KC fans. The result, that is to say, she picks up the solo kill there. And in the moment, the bottom lane there, the double root was just the cherry on top. It meant guaranteed there was no way KC could win the fight, but at least they were able to get out with everyone's lives, as Kana was so incredibly low that he wasn't taking an ace in the hole, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I love that Shiu is 100% everything contribution as far as kills and deaths. A solo that went his way and against him. So this Gnar in a decent spot. But kind of out of lane, not quite finding the value that Shiu has had, just chilling out here towards his top side and keeping on pushing. We'll have that Trinity Force completed relatively soon. As chasing down Kana, I mean, this is the thing, it's the all-in that Shiu needs to be very, very careful of, but otherwise should be in a good spot in the lane.
I feel like Boostio hasn't been able to find any roams. He's mostly just going to mid lane trying to help yaaa out, but the fact that they haven't been able to get anything off of Showmaker flashing early game, get any sort of lead for yaaa despite it. Feels really bad for KC. They're bleeding on bot lane. The top matchup, while Kana got the solo kill, he's still getting pushed in. There's no lane for Yike to play through. And it just feels like KC's outclassed across the board as Kalist gets jumped once again.
Ini kayaknya gak bakal ada game dari sementara itu Busio melewati portal di hold ultimate dari Yuki dan mati smash pemain T1 Academy ini harus merelakan sementara itu Karir berusaha untuk mengeluarkan dirinya dan di sisi atas ternyata ada pertarungan antara Siwa dan Limun. Siwa mati melawan Kana dan Lucid lawan counterpoint. Oh, Busio masih sudah mati.
Lucid trying to at least keep this fight going until Korea makes his way over. But it looks like yaaa not going to be helping out as Showmaker making his life annoying. Man, this one is so much closer than game one.
Yeah, Busio, great bar portal there to finally break the formation of DK and actually open up this game. KC getting a lead now. Kana getting the solo kill back-to-back, showing the power of this Olaf, and hopefully he can then use that to transition into a bigger lead and get push in top. Because I feel like looking at Yike's game plan, you can see how far down in CS he is on Lucid. Lucid is playing so well around these prio lanes, consistently invading Yike, full clearing his jungle, so Yike needs his teammates to actually help him out in this game.
I don't want to say it's a drop in the bucket, it's a significant pick, but doesn't overall change the game state here on the bottom side. Smash is still going to pick up first brick here. Got this massive push, so you slowed it down, but it's not going to actually ultimately be a massive game changer in the early parts of this one. As we're going to see exactly what went down here is you hit an undertow, you got the ghost available, pressing R, this time he's got it, Shiu just cannot escape, it's getting run down. What was it I think was that kill in the bottom, and like you said, finally Yike is able to get a punish on this pushing Caitlyn. Career trying to catch him, backfired in a big way, so it's one step forward, one step back for KC on the bottom side of the map. At least this Olaf is huge because someone's going to have to get backline access, and he's going to be the one. He's going to be the one running towards Smash and Showmaker with impunity in these late game team fights if they can get there.
And someone needs to kill the back line because Kalist is down 1,500 gold. If this is a fight where Smash and Kalist are both just able to do their damage, Smash is going to do way more, especially with Career landing the Cosmic Bindings. He's ahead as well, got that Shurelius. And Showmaker, while he's completely equal, he should be able to start getting ahead now with the pressure from Lucid with how strong this Jarvan is into the Anivia.
Yeah, and these undertows really do need to land. With Shurelius done, it just gives you so much extra movement speed as Busio, snagged by the light binding. Man, Korea is having one heck of a day today as he lines up the angles, keeps himself safe in the previous fight, and executes Busio in this one. 0-2 now for the Bard, unfortunately, and more plates are in danger. These 3 grubs putting in work alongside the Caitlyn, just getting around the map. And I was going to say this before, this reminds me of Deft and the way he used to use Caitlyn, which is park it outside a turret the entire game long. And they are just playing this siege game so beautifully. Yike now going to take a bit of damage through the doggos. Going to need to press W to grab those ones back. But Showmaker and Yehu have just been fighting anywhere on the map right now.
D+ are going to group for this. And KC just don't have any in right now. Yehu has TP, but he doesn't have Prio on the top side. Showmaker gets here first. If they are going to commit those, I don't think they will. I think this one is just a done deal with all the mid Prio right now. D+ are in such a good spot. If KC hard forced to lose this fight, it might be the end of the game for them.
KC just don't have a lane to play through. Kalist Arcane shift forward, but he's still losing the 1v1.
Kana's flanking a little bit, but he's found here by Xiu.
If they can stall out the Mega Gnar from Xiu,
could be a big deal. I do think the Canna is going to be the most important part. There's the Tempered Fate catching onto the Jarvan. Not a lot of follow-up there, though, as Korea demanding that Arcane shift out of Kalist.
The problem is the lanes. KC recognized the fact that DK are pushing both mid and bot. If they're going to get the Dragon, it needs to be right now. They can probably rush it and get away with it. It feels like they kind of got away with something they shouldn't have, as DK were the stronger team. But due to the fact that DK decided to push both mid and bot at the same time, small window with how much damage Fury does to the Dragon, KC get the Drake.
And KC also get another gift, and that is, it's a Chemtech Soul this game. Olaf with Chemtech Soul?
It's broken.
That is absolutely ludicrous.
I think when you look at that last fight, it was a sign to me that, first of all, I liked Kana's flank there, kept the Gnar honest, prevented Xiu from looking for an over-the-wall engage there, but it also meant that D+ realized there's a level of volatility in this fight, which gives a potential, if KC outplay there, for them to get back in the game, and they're just willing to give one elemental to not toss this one away, especially with the Gnar bar fading away. Speaking of Gnar bar fading away, Kana is just taken over the side lane. He's got a Strikebreaker he's going to use this. We do have a bit of a Herald fight here on the top side.
Yeah, being able to fight away from the Olaf could be a good thing here for D+ here, as now Showmaker slithering his way down from that top side of the map. Busio loses half. There's a great knockup from Lucid. And now where are they going to look? Showmaker is bearing down. Gets the flash ulti, but no stuns to come in. But he's just sidestepping the rest of KC. Kana now making his way into the fight, though. And you can see immediately DK like, nope, get me out of there.
Just going to get the turret here instead.
And KC, they're onto the Herald, but they do this so slow. I think DK can just rotate and force them out.
They're just going to get the turret, and they're going to come over here and try to stop this. Lucid is on this left side angle, can actually get in so easily on this Jarvan.
Light Binding comes in, connects onto Kana. He doesn't press the Ragnarok button just yet, as the Ghost has been used to start this one off. Yike can have to get out of there. Mega Gnar in perfect timing for Xiu to make sure that this Rift Herald goes over to D+. And the pressure just continues to mount on the shoulders of KC. And DK are just bearing down on them.
Yeah, DK are routing them. They have full control. And the way that they can just poke them without giving KC the engage. KC are the ones with the Astral. They have the poke themselves, but due to how far behind Kalist is, his damage doesn't stick to any target. And Showmaker's so, like, Showmaker's tanky, Lucid is tanky, Xiu is tanky, so as long as Smash and Korea are not the ones getting hit, as now, Yehu looks like he might be dead.
Got some friends coming though.
Yeah, Cataclysm comes in.
Yes,
let's
go.
There's the auto attack to do it.
Lucid, udah kena dua, kena pelora juga. Lucid agresif sekali. Maju-maju. Wah, Kana dengan ultimate-nya mengejutkan, memberikan surprise. Surprise, guys.
Yeah, he's just going to take the Shelly exit. He's going to drive towards his mid lane.
Yeah, he's going to come in and try to. I said try to. Get into the mid lane there and look to actually push that towards that turret. All the while, there's going to be a whole turret taken here on the top side. I think that was the right play from KC though. You got to look for stuff like this. You cannot just sit back and go, oh, we lost control. We're just going to play it slow and safe here because this composition isn't going to scale up. If you see Yehu get caught here, you got to just full sand. You're going to play through egg. You have the egg here, so you actually have some additional single time, even though Kalist can't get here. And ultimately, did this really work? Did they get a ton of control back? No, but they got to go off in here. They get a kill. This Olaf is going to be their late game win con. It's going to be a really hard path to get there, but at least they get something back. It comes at a heavy cost, though, as that top turret is wiped out.
Once again, Korea is just incredible, by the way. The Ragnarok wears off, and instantly he's tagged by a light binding. Like, I can't hit the light binding on a stationary target, let alone timing it perfectly through a wall.
I just feel like KC are so weak, apart from Kana. Like, you see that fight, and there's like no damage on Showmaker until Kana gets involved. And the problem is, if Kana wants to continue evolving himself in these plays, Shiwu is going to take those towers so incredibly fast. He has 3 grubs, has the Trinity Force, and a Fed Gnar is going to be even more difficult for KC to eventually have to deal with.
It's so weird that you say Fed Gnar when he's been solo killed twice.
But he is just getting so much time. I'm with
you're absolutely right, and that's what makes it so weird.
Because it's pseudo 3-carry comp. It's not quite the 3-carry we saw with the Tristana in game 1, but he's going to be a side lane threat. He's going to be difficult to answer. And so a lot of resources will have to be spent if D+ continue controlling this map, which right now, they're doing such a great job. I mean, Lucid here is starting to challenge the camps of Yike directly in his face. He's a full level up. Just straight up here on this Nefiri.
Well, Lucid would look for a little bit of an angle there, as Busio going to have to use his Mikhails to keep himself alive. The magnetized light bindings always connecting here from Korea.
And it just feels like every part of KC is outmatched by DK. You see Lucid forcing Yike out. You see Career forcing Busio out. KC really need to find an angle to get a numbers advantage somewhere, but it's a very similar situation to game 1, where they don't have one lane that they can actually play through. All the lanes are getting pushed in, so they need to channel that creative energy that we saw from game 1 to be able to find a pick using the Tempered Fate, using a teleport flank, or just some other creative avenue.
It's a 2 Drake game at 20.5 minutes. And D+ are going to get this 3rd one, but I don't think this is one that KC should fight over. Another potential angle here for KC when their Ezreal is, at 21 minutes here, not even on that 2nd item spike. I think you just have to play slow. I think you have to play through Kana being the raid boss. You have to play through Kana being the one and follow up on that, try to zone with your Anivia wall, and not try to play a traditional team fight, but just play an Olaf team fight later on in this game.
I also think showing how much control DK have of this game is the fact that they just did Dragon, and KC's cross map was 1 plate on top.
Hey, at least they got a plate on top.
At least they got a plate.
And got a little bit of respite with the wave being pushed out or 2. That's certainly helpful. Canna on the bottom side of the map as well is going to greet this outer turret at the same time. 3 turrets, though, have been taken here for DK. The map is just shrinking on the side of KC, and Canna comes on over. Yes, he gets the overgrowth. That is about it, as Korea just kind of by himself is pushing KC around here in this mid lane. Lucid looks for an angle in as well. That is a possible engage option, but
I don't know about fighting into a Lux and a choke with a Jarvan here and a Gnar that's sitting on TP in the bottom lane. They're gonna have to evacuate. If you try to look for picks with this KC comp, it's not the Camille comp we had in game 1, right? Sure, they have a Nefiri, they have a Bard that can maybe split a team fight in half, but you're just not at the power level right now to actually win said fight, even if you have the numbers advantage. So I think they need to play passively. But if you play passively, you just get pushed out the map. It's a losing game almost no matter what choice you make.
I do think, though, when you look at the items, this is really the timing that KC should look to fight, because it's 2 items across the board for pretty much every player, while if you stall, then now Smash can get the LDR before Kalist gets his 3rd. Showmaker can get his 3rd faster as well. So I think if there was a time for them to try to find something, it is right now, but it's really difficult to see how they do that.
Yeah, what tools do they really have besides a wall and a potential Bard ultimate? Because D+ are playing grouped. They're actually following each other, not sending someone super deep in the side. And when they know KC are grouped elsewhere, that's when Shiu pushes aside, right? Or vice versa. Showmaker, right now the 1-3-1 is working a treat, and KC got a blast cone here to maybe try to play with onto Showmaker. Maybe that's your best angle, but he's got this ward here, he's got vision, he's got the push. It's hard to catch anyone, and if it takes you too long, then all of those the rest of D+ rotates up, which is exactly what's happening right now. So Showmaker's just chilling. Here comes Lucid.
Yeah, because DK can just continue pushing in mid. So as long as that 5-10 second timer, the side laner respects, DK can always cover that side. That's why KC needs to find someone misstepping, be really, really decisive on that play.
Ooh, maybe a bit of an angle here. There's Yike coming on over, but they do manage to get the shield out for Korea, helping Lucid stay healthy. So KC moving on over now. True Shot Barrage connects onto Smash. They get that position. Flash out of the way of the Tempered Fate is good. And Korea is now definitely going to be a juicy target here for KC.
So they utilize the timer there of having yaaa drop the top wave and moving straight. They get the flash as Kana looks for the solo kill.
Oh dear, a third one. Let's see whether he can make it happen. As yeah, this one's looking easier than the first two, although the kiting comes down. There's the undertow, and he'll be able to lock that one up. On the other side of the fight, going down to the egg one more time. Would you like it scrambled, DK? That is the question.
Tapi solo kill doang, fight-nya di atas, di tengah sih. Anjir!
Lucid's going to go down as well.
Mati Lucid gara-gara
That is
sini.
Kalist now with a kill to his name as well. The Ezreal feeling better, and you mentioned it. This is the spike KC want to play around, and they get their fight.
I need to see a replay. How did yaaa end up so deep in enemy territory there? Luckily, Lucid goes a little bit too deep, and they're able to one-shot him as he goes in, but yaaa...
How does fishing for stuns.
This looks good. This looks good.
Yeah, fishing for stuns.
He gets chained.
And then I think what I would have liked to see here for KC potentially is a TP from the Olaf. If Olaf TP's behind, maybe they could actually make some more of this. But he was so focused. He doesn't have his ultimate, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think even him being a body there on the other side, this is the first-person view on the third solo kill for Kana this game.
I feel like Kana, let's see how low he was. He finishes this fight at 700 HP. The thing is, I feel like KC should just back off, let Kana finally get bot push after you've gotten the solo kill, and then you should finally have a pushing lane that can generate you some pressure. But it's good that we continue to see KC fight. You know, they continue finding these angles, and while that wasn't the play from yaaa, it still ended up being a 1-for-1. Lucid was a bit of a shutdown.
Yeah, shutdown. It's the Kalist as well.
So it is like gold going over the side of KC. It was nearly a 4,000 gold lead for DK. Now it's 2,000 with KC looking to pressure up top lane.
Definitely a big swing back in favor of KC. Still haven't done all of the work just yet as we crest the 25-minute mark. Baron been up for about 5 minutes time, but it's a 20-second timer on this Chemtech Dragon. That'd be soul point for DK. Lucio almost just dead. There's the ace in the hole. Almost dies from that one as well. And all right. Oh! Final spark. Sometimes the emotes come too soon as Korea puts him down.
Korea just capping him in this game. He is destroying him.
This is probably Korea's best game. I haven't seen a performance out of this guy like this for a really long time.
It's crazy. You know, we could argue a little bit of a mistake there from Busio as well, but he just keeps hitting these bindings. The headshot comes through.
The Caitlyn is online. Like,
this is crazy.
Doing so much damage. KC, if they want to win a fight, they need to focus Smash down, because otherwise he will tear down their team apart.
And this is just a free dragon here for D+. I mean, look at the map. There's just no way. And KC don't want to give this up, but they don't have a choice. Kalista also in a bit of a bad spot here.
Yeah, Peacemaker does not find the target. There's the Tempered Fate to keep them at bay. Shiu now looking for Yike as yaaa is up towards his top side as well. Yike gonna have to flash out as Oldenar just barely not able to get in there. But Showmaker comes up, and Yike realizes I'm just gonna have to hold forward. Unfortunately, you're going straight into the petrifying gaze as yaaa is getting surrounded. Kana shows up though. Do they have the DPS to deal with this Olaf? That is the question. He does put the chicken in a cage. Showmaker's gonna come over and sink those fangs in. And now, with the Ragnarok running, he's looking for one kill, but Shiu's gonna survive because he has his friends here this time. And DK, they find 3 in the topside play.
And I mean, this is the moment where D+ proved that grouping like this and reading the plays from KC, having these fast rotations, having the support of anyone who's trying to get pinched is always going to work when you're this far ahead and you have this much map control. As Busio hung around for a moment here, but likes being alive, and we'll just let this Baron go.
Kena dikit. Tipis aja. Gesek-gesek. Gesek aja deh, dikit-dikit.
This initial setup here.
DK has silenced the crowd here. Yike wants to try to dive Shiu, but down. It's just
Saya akan lawan sih tadi.
Fight him 1v1. Shiu will recognize the bluff. Showmaker knows that Yike needs to go onto him, lands the petrifying gaze.
Mentang-mentang
but
sama Kana
what can an Olaf do here?
He can't do anything because his DPS is gone, right? yaaa is still early days here and very vulnerable in this fight. And the Ezreal is in the mid lane. Can't get access, has no prio into the Caitlyn, and is just pushing the wave as he's cheering in the mid lane. Well, there's nothing he can do. He drops a true shot to try to snipe Shiu, but he's unsuccessful. And D+, by the way, instead of letting their top laner get caught there and avoiding the fight and getting a dragon, they win the fight, then they get the dragon. So now they have soul point. They got wins on both sides of the map. See if Shiu can escape here.
Oh, well, I think this one's going to be a difficulty because just one Olaf has been a problem so so far. Does have Mega Gnar coming up, though, as Busio finds the Cosmic Binding. Still, the pressure here from D+, just a little bit too much. Gnar is able to get away. The Dragon is taken, Soul Point is claimed, and they're going to look to take down this turret as well, because I feel like that whole last section of play had nothing to do with Smash, who is now, like, 3.5 items. This Caitlyn is ludicrously strong.
Yeah, that was pretty much a team fight without Smash. That was all Showmaker and Shiu. So now, if Smash gets involved, it's going to be so much more difficult for KC.
Oh, Lucid just going to put them into the Cataclysm.
Lucid's
in a bit of trouble.
Oh, Smash sakit.
Takes down Busio first. There's the second.
Udah menang DK 2-0 ini
behind the wall, but the rest of DK are getting on in there. Shiu, possibly a bit of an overextension, but Smash goes back to his favorite thing, and that is dismantling the house of KC. Inhibitor goes down in the mid lane. Showmaker chasing out Kalist on this top side, and there's the knockout from Lucid. 1-2 punch of the mid jungle looking good. As D plus Kia are poised to pick up match point here in EWC 2026.
Dominance. Yeah, that's the only word I can think of. It felt like DK had
Udah jelas ya tim BU ya
control of
guys,
this
tim
game
BU masih
the
menang ya
entire
guys.
time. Even though
Kalau
Kana
BU tuh
got
nggak
2
mungkin
solo kills,
sejago itu mereka
it
guys,
didn't
sumpah.
feel like KC ever really had a pressure point to play around to be able to find an advantage in this game. They're going to look to cancel the bases. The Temper Fate lands, but you can't really do anything.
Well, Korea is looking to get out of the way of Yahoo here. Goes down to about 50%.
Support blok si Karin ini nggak berasa deh, memang real support lah. Kalau support blok kita berdamage mas. Ulti ini cuma buat ini ya, bukan buat KS malah. Gue nyicil aja. Ada ulti dia buat itu.
Yahoo has no mana. In the last part of that fight, he spent so much time trying to whittle away in this early part of the skirmish. But look at the fight that KC are trying to take here. They have no control. Lucid's able to flash away, and then once again, you just can't deal with all of this damage coming out of Smash.
Yeah, I feel like DK can play the fight however they want, because Lucid can tank the backline for 5 seconds, while it only takes 2 auto attacks for Smash to kill the backline and front line of KC. So it's so difficult to see an avenue for success for KC this game, because it just feels like they've been shut down every single play that they went for, every single lane that they went for. And DK have just been better throughout the whole game.
Just feels like suffocation here from D plus Kia. Every answer seems to be there, from this Caitlyn Lux lane being so incredibly suffocating, and then the Olaf that has found so much success into the Gnar. 3 solo kills against the Gnar, and it just hasn't meant anything.
Let's not forget, part of the reason why Smash got so online so early was because Busio tried to affect the rest of the map with his roams. It wasn't successful. And just from the outset, D+ had such oppressive control. The Gnar is so difficult to punish, even if you solo kill him. He's still going to be relevant in team fights later on. He spent so much of this game just hard farming.
Now we've got D+ closing in on the base of KC that is already in shambles. Yeah, trying to avoid these noxious blasts. He's doing a decent job, but he is Anivia. He can clear out waves quite comfortably. There is no Baron left to help with this push. And they are at least able to deal with these minions for the moment. Miasma goes down though, Yank not very happy about that one, as there is a pesky Gnar just trying to knock down Nexus turrets here. And KC just kind of getting pulled around the map. The pressure is just not going away.
DK are doing what they've done so well all game, just playing it slow, suffocating KC, and not letting them have any avenue for an engage, play with the minions. The Tempered Fate, Busio is trying, but there's nothing there.
There's nothing there, and I mean, the super minions starting to hit these turrets. They're running out of time, they're running out of health. As another wave is coming through mid and top, and D+. Worst case scenario, they back away and take Baron. Best case scenario, KC fumble the defense here, and they just lose the game right now.
Another inhibitor poised to go down here. The rest of KC are starting to mount a little bit of an attack. Showmaker fighting against the list. The ulti's interrupted from Yike though, and now Yahoo has to flash out of the way. D+ always there to have the back of their mid laner, and now Shiu is on Nexus turrets. Light bindings are flying through. He's just hitting the structures, and Kana might be CC immune, but he is not death immune. And now Shiu's getting his revenge. Another final spark here from Korea, and I think that might have been the final one here in game number 2 for KC. As D+ Kia, they demand a reverse sweep out of the home hometown heroes if they are ever going to win this series.
This is domination from the 5th place team of the LCK. D+. Could not get out of... They struggled to make sure they were out of Rise Group last year, but they are looking so much better this year around, and EWC has been their tournament, and Smash seems to be the man of EWC 2026.
And I'm so sorry for completely messing you up there, Wolf, because you said 5th place in the LCK. I remember a team that managed to win the World Championship coming from 5th place, and D+ Kia poised to do the same thing here at EWC. But now it is time to throw it over to Digon to let us know what they thought about this game.
Thank you very much, guys, and that is correct. I want to quantify how unique this is for D+ Kia. Yes, they have Showmaker. Yes, their players have been stepping up, but it has been such a long time since we've seen them firing at full form when it mattered the most, and now they're one game away from achieving that potential here. It is 2-0 D+ Kia over Karmine Corp.
Honestly, I've had this feeling through this tournament, and it's just really coming to the surface now. Who is this team? Because even when D+ Kia was having great results, they never really showed this level of control. And even when Shu was getting solo killed, unfortunately, in this game, it felt like the momentum was always in D+'s favor.
I mean, for me, biggest difference between like earlier the split of DK and now is that they have like some specific idea in coming into the draft. I remember Max getting flamed about like his weird draft, but I think it finally the outcome is here. I think the theme that they have right now is just so much clearer than Karmine Corp has. I feel like they have the early game, they have the control, but I feel like the connection between the picks are not working out for Karmine Corp, especially. Like you have Nafiri, but what is Anivia doing with it? So I feel like all the picks that they have is like, yes, we have to pick away from DK, but this is not the one that we want.
I feel like it was primarily Casey here just trying to pick anything that's comfortable for the right because they all have walked into the Nara multiple times. The first 2 picks were the exact same 3 picks that they first T1 on their way to the reverse sweep. Yes, they showed work to boost their comfort, and they tried to do the exact same thing here. I feel like the big difference, the smashing career, have been shutting down Kalista and Lucio over and over.
I know we've seen so much Caitlyn Bard, but then pulling out the old school Lux here, the Caitlyn Lux bot lane with so much kill pressure, and then career just having himself such a fantastic game. The snipes, the stopping, the recalls. He played so well as we take a look at some of the highlights here from that last one, starting over there.
That was my favorite thing that DK did here because I felt like they said it in the cast as well. There's been so much patience on this DK roster. You see Lucid engages because she sees Olaf down bot lane. The second the TP gets channeled, they've used everything to make it flashes forward. They pull off of the Rift Herald knowing that Olaf is there. She shows up as a mini now. What do? They focus then on that mid lane whilst Career is peeking into the Herald. And after they've taken that mid lane tower, they see that Kalist is now taking that wave. They've got numbers advantage and they move back in.
And I'm telling you, regular season D+, they don't even see the TP coming in. They're going in. There's no hesitation. So the level of control and patience, as you said, just a whole other level from what we saw from them domestically in the season so far.
Yeah, again, it has been such a learning journey here for D+ Kia, not only this year, but over the last several years, adding different pieces, adding Lucid 2 years ago as the Rookie of the Year, then adding Shiwu last year as the Rookie of the Year. Now those rookies down on the bottom side of the map, they knew who they were building around in Showmaker, and proven world champion in his own right, but then slowly having to have all those growing pains throughout. As we take a look at one more highlight on the top side of the map, 26 minutes in.
And this is a situation where Casey trying to be proactive, trying to make a play happen. But I think D was just responding really well to it. And despite the fact that she was really far behind, just completely bullies Yike out of the position. And as the team moves in, I think the petrifying gaze, fantastic on a Yike. They know the TP's coming in, but they just managed to deal with all the threats in such a controlled manner.
And the disconnection between the Karmine Corp players, your Ezreal, AD carry, Kalist is in the mid lane, but some of the players are committing, TPing in, so this is not gonna work. DK is just having free kills here, like collecting all the golds on the top side, while them having the same plan, while having them being on the same page here.
Yeah, and then finally, if there is going to be a bright spot, someone that's going to bring back Carmine Corp and revive this crowd here at the Port de Versailles Expo Center, it's going to be the man in the top lane, in Kana, who has played so great, not only throughout today, not only throughout this tournament, but this year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of good for D+. D+ are 2-0 up in the series, but Connor did his best in this game to make things happen, and as we face the prospect of a reverse sweep being needed for KC to win this series, Connor has been showing up in this game, and they're really relying on him. I think the rest of the team needs to step up, but they can enable that top laner who's able to find these great solo kills that he's definitely a point of the map that can give them pressure and carry.
I feel like when we're talking about enabling, there has been a guy who's unfortunately been kind of invisible on the Rift so far, and one of my favorite players on KC, and that has been Yaaa. I feel like he found an incredible 3-man knockup on the Wukong versus T1, constantly with a goal deficit to turn the game around and win it for them. I feel like I'm looking at the Wukong, I'm looking at the Shimza, I'm looking at the Kha'Zix, which is his signature pick to try and get that confidence back, to try and turn it around for KC.
Wadid, you're the one that called out the KC upset over T1.
Didn't he say 3-0?
He did say 3-0, so he might be correct, just for the wrong team here. Who do you need to step up here for KC?
I think it's Yehu.
The upset.
So I'm all from the Rift so far, and one of my favorite players on KC, and that has been Yaaa.
Oh iya, wali kota Paris, cu. Gila, wali kota Paris nonton tim Eropa.
Always a fantastic environment here at the Esports World Cup, and we have cosplayers standing by right now with Ginny. Right after this, you're watching EWC 2026.
Kalau dari sorotan itu masih orang penting biasanya.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadia City, powered by Play.
Kadia City, belum kelar-kelar tuh.
We got some of the most incredible cosplays that I have ever seen in my own life. So it would be lovely for every single one of you to give me an introduction. Why you do what you do? What is it about your cosplay? I'm gonna start with you.
Okay, so I'm Camelia. I've been cosplaying for 16 years. I wanted to cosplay Aurora because I really like the fact that she is autistic, she's very nerdy, all that kind of stuff. I really feel myself in her. And I also wanted to have an easy props to, for example, pass to people, visitors, to pose with it. So we'll have something nice to interact with people.
Hi, I'm Enzaeru and I cosplay today Vi from Arcane. And why I choose this character is because it's my main since more than 10 years. So actually that's the perfect shot for me.
Rambutnya si Herman ya.
Hi, my name is Kumi. I'm a French cosplayer and I'm currently cosplaying Zaya because obviously she's one of my favorite mains. And I just had a little bit of bandage that I did myself to just make it high up, and that's it.
Hello, my name is Biol. I cosplay Yone from League of Legends because I love the champ. I love his design and to play him in LoL.
Hi, I'm Paku and I cosplay Seraphine. It took me 1 month to create the costume, and then I had a crush on this character when she was released.
Hi, I'm Kiana, ruler of the land.
Oh, cocok, Kiana, cocok,
perfection, but I guess I can manage.
Hello, my name is Lin and I choose Ares Star Guardian because it's a character from Ionia and I'm Chinese. Also, this skin in particular was gifted to me by one of my friends, so it was very dear to me.
Ari Junior.
Hi, about our cosplay. So basically, we love way too much Jinx and Echo, and that's the motivation of our cosplay, and also the love of LoL, the love of Arcane. That's very important.
All right, thank you guys so much for all of that. That's it from us over here. I hope you guys enjoyed the cosplays just as much as I did.
Tadi kabur aja, aneh. This is not a game. STC. Esport World Cup anjing di Paris cuy. Orang kasih senang banget di Paris. Mana kemarin bilang
whatever that means. Most important thing is you have a fantasy team on the app.
Yes, exactly. I picked I did my fantasy team.
Can you run me through that?
Yeah, of course. Let us start with the AD carry. I went with Ruler as a classic one. Ruler never disappoints.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. And then I went for Kyle for support. It was a bit of a budget pick.
Yeah,
I tried to save some money, you know. I tried to save money for my GOAT, but I will tell you who is it. I give it a surprise.
Okay.
All right. Now I went for top lane Kana. Strong pick, as always. He did a great tournament. Yike, a bit of KC owning, you know.
We're fanboying a bit now. Yeah.
KC fanboy. And now, the last for the best, always. Chovy, the GOAT.
Okay, you're trolling. You were completely broke. You had no funds left. Yeah, Faker, but that's fine.
Faker, yeah. Faker is too expensive, to be honest, because he's really the GOAT.
True.
You know?
Facts.
But let's keep it on Chovy, you know?
Yeah. And now, most important thing, you probably had a blast doing this.
Yeah, that was super fun, to be honest. I never expected that it would be like this a good team for my pick, but I think that I managed to do quite good in this tournament. And yeah, being a KC fanboy was good too, you know, since we are in the final, and hopefully we're gonna win today too. So yeah.
Yeah, what a blast.
Yeah, what a blast.
League of Legends Classic tuh mereka main tuh. Aramco tuh apa? Tadinya. Apa yang di negara itu tadinya? F1.
나 이긴 거 같아. 이제 잡았어. 잘해봐 나 없어.
딜해볼래?
나 볼게. 나 필이 노공이야. 아 올라프 애니비아 만 없어서 해도 돼. 애니비아 만 없어. 해.
Karir.
나 좋아. 해도 돼. 나 필이
좋아.
노공이야. 올라프. 혼자. 끝. 나이스.
이게
Wanja, catur, acting, racing, FPS, FIFA, kopi utamanya, Esport World Cup.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies
to EWC
and gentlemen.
2026. It's the grand final. D
2026.
plus Kia on the precipice of doing what we would have thought would be the inconceivable. But there is one thing even more unlikely. One thing even more ridiculous.
I think I know the answer.
What is it, Wolf?
A reverse sweep from KC?
That's the one!
On stage in Paris?
This wasn't a question and answer section. However, I'm really glad that you knew the answer.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to raise my hand.
It is still on the table. It is still on the table. KC going to have to dig so deep, though, to figure that one out because Jack Spectra, this has been a rough one so far.
Yeah, I'm brought back, though.
Oke, EWC itu masih Navi, Vitality.
2026. Top Esports versus G2.
You didn't have to go that far back. That was like last week.
That was, yeah, a few weeks ago. Top Esports versus G2. They were dominating them in the early game, and they won both game 1 and 2, and it felt like it was going to be a 3-0. It felt like EO's hopes and dreams were shattered. And then they got reverse swept.
True.
Look, it has happened before. We have seen it before. We haven't seen it at an EWC League of Legends Finals yet. Our third one. Maybe it could be the charm. I do want to point out that KC actually went for first pick and not second pick, or for a potential counter pick for Kana going into this one, so changing up the style a little bit. I'm curious to see what their game plan is going to be. The later you go in Fearless, sometimes that counter pick can really, really matter. Well, there's still so many strong picks available. If a curveball's thrown in the initial ban phase, maybe they've got a strategy prepared here.
I just feel like the most important thing in the series are the matchups, because we've seen now if DK have winning matchups, they just run away with the game. They don't let you scramble with them. They don't want to tango. They don't want to get in the mud. What we saw in the T1 KC series was T1 was always willing to fight back whenever KC went for a play, but DK, they've been very, very patient, very, very disciplined. So I think if KC again draft losing lanes, if they're playing into a really strong bot lane, strong mid lane, strong top lane, then DK are just going to 3-0 this game, this series.
Well, we'll see what happens as we are into Champion Select for game number 3. The Orianna and the Vi both taken away here from KC. And as far as D+ is concerned, they're not allowed to play the Syndra, Poppy, and the Ambessa. It's weird that I said it like that because no one can play any of the champions, but there are other decisions that were made from either team.
Two
and
picks
Jace taken away as well.
That I think are potentially going to come up big in this game are the Taliyah and the Ryze that we haven't seen yet with so many of these mages removed. And it's certainly picks that we often see take over the map, as we will see Kana's Rumble first picked here with that first pick. We've seen this a lot in Game 3s of this tournament.
Yeah, I think if you can force Shiwu now onto a tank and having Kana on the Rumble, being able to constantly push that tank in and just be stronger in the skirmishes, it speaks really nicely for KC's early game, which seems like they've kind of caught on. We need to have strong winning lanes if we are to come back in this series and make it a reverse sweep. But there's not many things that beat this Ryze now with how many mid laners are outside of the pool.
So Ryze going to be locked in. Is it like you could go Pantheon alongside this as well?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The amount of global pressure, but the Nocturne is also up and available for what feels like the first time in the last few days. Still, it's going to be K'Sante. This has been an answer in the LCK, especially into the Rumble, but like you were saying, doesn't necessarily have push in the lane.
Yeah, a little bit slower, but definitely setting up a front to back and a late game composition. So what the answer is, like, I don't know if you necessarily want Pantheon here as Yike in this draft.
I think maybe you want the Wukong instead. The only thing is Wukong's early game clear and early game skirmishing power isn't the best, but we saw Yike on this Wukong yesterday was so key in their victory. I mean, this was their exact comp in last game, or the last game yesterday against T1, where they had the Wukong and the Annie that found some clutch engages to be able to come back against T1.
The scariest thing is the lack of power in the early game. It means that Kalista and Lucio really need a stable bottom lane, otherwise they may just simply find themselves dove, and Yike might be stuck down there trying to patch that hole.
I think Lucian is a big pick for Kalista's game. Kalist could be another one. Or Kalista. Kalist.
Kalista for Kalist?
Kalista for Kalist. The only thing with Kalista is that very volatile. All it takes is one play to go wrong, and it can be incredibly scary. You also still have the potential of a Taliyah bot lane for Smash, in which case I would hate to play Kalista into that. So I think that could be something that KC looks to target.
I think as well, Xayah Rakan is an option. I mean, Rakan, Annie, Wukong. This is something that we've seen in the LCK, especially in our Rise group matches last year, was the keep it simple composition. The problem is you're playing into the Kings of the Rise group, which is D+ Kia down there as well. So a dangerous prospect, but Rakan paired alongside the Wukong and the Annie is very, very scary.
Interesting that they're the ones who banned the Lucian away, because I'm kind of with Jack Spectre on this one in terms of strong lanes they could play. Maybe they're looking for the Kalista ultimately in the end. They really just need to have a lane that wins.
I think maybe they're going for the Xayah Rakan. Even though they'll probably lose slightly in the early game, I think the Rakan Wukong, as you say, Atlas, it's just, it's so easy to play.
What about something like a Misfortune Rel, I suppose, could also work down there? It's, again, a little bit dated, but it certainly could still be strong. A Seraphine ban.
Maybe they were worried about the Ashe Seraphine. That's also a really strong early game and really nicely scaling with the Wukong. I'm curious to see what DK wants to go for. They banned the Varus as well, so they're kind of trying to target the strong champions for KC.
Yeah, obviously KC's going to show their hand first, so D+ will have the ability to react here.
And I wonder whether it's like, if you see the Xayah locked in, do you pick away the Rakan? I think that could be really dangerous for D+, just because Rakan into the Wukong and the Rumble can be so hard to play. So we are going to see D+ locking in their first half of the bottom lane. And it's a Nico for Korea. Champion that he's found a lot of success on, but this could be very difficult to pilot against what we've already seen here from KC in this draft.
But they're doubling down. DK want to have a winning matchup no matter what, unless they go for the Rakan. Seems like a last-minute pivot.
Rakan is so good with the Wukong.
I was thinking, like, Rakan is super, super good, but now...
It feels like denial rather than anything else, though, right?
Exactly. The only thing now is KC should, on paper, be pretty easily able to find a winning lane, because Rakan he can survive the lane quite easily with the healing on his Q and how safe he is with all the mobility, but he's not going to be winning into most matchups.
I'm pretty okay with the Misfortune lane here, but they want to split the Xayah, and I think they think the Xayah is so safe into what they're running here, but I think they have so many tools that Xayah's ult is only one way to escape. They lock it in anyways.
So is it going to be the Xayah Nautilus that we've seen as being the most popular?
Or Rel? I like Rel a lot because then you have kind of the wombo combo.
A lot of circles.
Yeah, a lot
Leona
of circles.
may be a consideration. The Rakan's always a good matchup there.
It's a lot of Merc Treads value though with Leona, Annie and Rumble. I like the Rel a lot here for KC. And I like the Xayah. The Xayah ulti doesn't have crazy value, but DK's comp is very short range, which allows her feathers to have so much value if she can stack those up. We'll see what DK goes for last. I think just a hyper carry for Smash to match up into this, because it should just be kind of a stable, normal lane. The Sivir or the Siri I would expect here.
Sivir's so good here. Can spell shield so much. Obviously not great at the Wukong's ultimate, but if you know the Annie's trying to set up a Q stun in a team fight, can spell shield that. And the wave clears is the main thing for me. You're going to be able to push so hard.
You certainly can, but ladies and gentlemen, we have Lou standing alongside with the KC fans.
Selamat mencoba lah, semoga sukses.
Yeah, indeed, it's you know, a bit cold here now in Paris. The arena was on fire at the beginning of the series as I'm standing by with some KC fans. Je disais, la clim qui est un petit peu forte ici à Paris, donc je suis avec vous pour essayer de réchauffer un petit peu l'ambiance. Moi déjà, je voulais te demander, pourquoi est-ce que tu penses que le river sweep est possible?
Parce que Kana et Caliste, ils n'abandonneront jamais.
Kana and Caliste won't ever give up. Moi, je voulais te demander, pourquoi est-ce que tu continues d'y croire?
Parce qu'on n'a que 3 games à gagner depuis le début. Là encore, on a 3 games à gagner. Yaaa va tout déchirer. On a confiance en Carmine. Et voilà, c'est tout. On va tout déchirer ce soir.
We only have 3 games to win and we can definitely make it. Et un petit avis peut-être sur le Rumble de Kana?
Je pense qu'il va réchauffer la salle aujourd'hui. Est-ce que vous êtes chaud?
So confident on the Rumble from Kana. Et justement, j'allais vous demander peut-être, pour hype un petit peu les joueurs, les gars, ne me laissez pas flop. You ready? What's the color? What's the color? I said, what's the color? Let's go back to the game.
Thank you so much, Lou. Let's see whether the KC fans can at least get a game, right? They need to start this reverse sweep right now. I think this draft looking a little bit better, a little bit more winnable, perhaps, in this game.
I'm feeling very cautiously optimistic here. I feel like this is the best draft they've had thus far. And it feels like a comp where it should be really hard for DK to show that laning prowess that they showed in game number 1 and 2. So we can actually get to see some late game team fights that is on equal footing where KC can show their mechanical prowess.
And it is just a composition that's simple to execute, as Atlas mentioned earlier in the draft. And sometimes, you know, I'm not trying to say that the KC can't handle complex drafts, but when you're down 0-2, your mental's in the gutter a little bit. Yeah. You get that easy comp, you get back on the right footing, you have that coordination come back. That's how you could potentially start a reverse sweep. So I'm with you guys. I like this draft a lot, but it's not by any means a hard winning draft. I think it's a very close one here, but the closest so far.
Yeah, I agree, Wolf. I will say, though, I think it's kind of a hard game for Smash, because the Sivir spell shield, realistically, it's only really good against Yahoo on the Annie. Into Rel, if you get flash combo, the spell shield's not going to do anything. If you get flash ulted by Yike on the Wukong, the spell shield's not going to do anything. If you get Equalizer from Kana, the spell shield's also not going to help you out much. So I feel like if they're able to find good angles onto him, he's so short range, they have a lot to make this simple comp work.
They do have on the hunt, and I do think that the extra movement speed, especially for a champion like Ryze, for example, getting into a position in order to get these prisons down and take out these KC members one after the other can be devastating. And Xiu, on the Cassante, being able to separate a single target and sort of ruin this wombo combo that KC has also could be instrumental. I think there are a lot of things that DK can use, but you're like, I agree with what you're saying. I think it is narrow. I think it is more difficult for DK to find the angles in this one. And they're going to have to use the extra momentum that they've picked up from these first couple of games in order to get them over the line.
Do you guys think we'll see Showmaker take Ghost in this game on the rise? Do you think he'll take TP? I think it's a really tough call. With the rotational power we've seen from D+ today, teleport, obviously a higher value around the map, but the Ghost into this comp feels so good. But you have the Sivir, you've got both the mobility to get away, but also to chase down and secure those kills. It's a really tough call, I'd say.
Yeah, I think Ghost is not bad. I think he has two good options. And it's also it's a nice Rise game to play with how much, like both team comps are very short range. So that's nice for all the carries involved, because all the carries are short range. So it really will come down to execution and how both team comps play out.
Well, let's see how it goes as, ladies and gentlemen, match point for D+ Kia. KC, the beginnings of a reverse sweep have to start here. There is no other option. Their backs are against the wall. A nice looking composition though as we get onto the rift for this game number 3.
And I feel like with this comp, we can finally see Yike and Busio really linking up and making plays happen together. They both can start the play on their own and have the other one follow up, which allows them to be much more creative in how they play it. While before it felt like it was just Busio needing to make a miracle happen with the Bard ultimate, it's now a lot more equalized as we get to see some early laning phase between KC here. Busio just wants to all in.
Yeah, there's the crash down. Is avoided by Smash quite nicely as the ricochets do dance through. There's the heal out from both of our supports. And Korea needing to hit these Gleaming Quills. Yeah. I think that is the way you're going to play this one.
Exactly. You're going to need to hit those to get the sustain needed to make these favorable trades, but still already pretty favorable for them at this level 1. Now have control of the wave.
Yeah, early laning phase, Sivir pushes faster than the Xayah, and with the sustain and the range from Rakan, you can get that push. And the worry I have is I feel like DK has shown such good laning phase in this best of 5, and even a small lane lead, they've been able to transition that into making the game pretty much unplayable for KC. So we need KC to not give them that avenue, not make that mistake, because if DK get it, they will not give you the comeback.
Yeah, difference maker could be Yike here, rushing towards that level 6 to get that Cyclone. We saw just how pivotal he was in their previous matchup. An option here for KC to play around, but they do need to buy some time in order to let the Wukong reach that point. As on the other side, it's Lucid on his Xin Zhao. He's been very comfortable on this pick for a very long time. Shove is looking good here towards the bottom side for DK, but Yehu is having such a good time on this Annie in the mid lane.
You can see the sustain gap on bot lane. The Gleaming Quills are landing from career, and Smash is staying full HP. Okalistas half used both of his potions, as Yehu is getting some good trades. And Kana, while he's losing push in the early laning phase, eventually he will start to get pushed, but it's level 3 on bot lane.
Yeah, there's a Shattering Strike. Good crash down does connect onto Career, who battle dances his way out of the way. This does get that feather pull, but it's not too much. And it's going to be another one trade here for D+ Kia.
Lucid's down here, and obviously they have a lot of cryo, and it's a Wukong early. They're going to need Annie's help. Yehu comes over here if they want to control the Scuttle Crab.
Yike has Smite though. Lucid used his, so he can smite the crab and get away. Showmaker also chose to invest the TP there, but Kallista's really chunked.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage. Grand Entrance gets the flash out from this Xayah. Not a lot of value of that pullback, as well as now Lucid wants to get on in here. There is the thumbs up once again. It hasn't exactly been a good luck charm here for the Xayah as he throws down the feathers and just dies. First blood over to Lucid here in the bottom lane.
And DK's laning has just been superior in this best of 5. All they need is a slight lead and they will run away with the game. Busio will be getting dove. Kallista's already dead. It's a disaster for KC.
And this is not the start of the reverse sweep that you were looking for. It's a disaster in the bottom lane. 2 kills early on over to Lucid. He's up 600 gold. Sure, Showmaker's TP wasn't the greatest, wasn't super high value, but they didn't even need him. And all they got, all they walked away with was the Scuttle Crab.
Bailey's got the Scuttle Crab though, that's pretty cool. On the top side of the map as well, Kanna is getting a little bit of a shove in, but you can see Xiu is still actually ahead in farm by just a little bit. Not too bad for this Cassante, who is looking a little worse for wear otherwise. In the mid lane though, it is still Yehu with a bit of a shove advantage, but the CS has not really mimicked what we've been seeing in that laning phase. And And so 1,000 gold is going to be the resulting advantage here for D+ Kia.
And credit where credit is due. I mean, Smash has been so damn good all this tournament, and he's showing the laning prowess alongside Career. They have a slight winning lane, and that's all they need to take down Kalist and now build up such a big gold lead. Shiwu now getting some really good trades on Kana here.
Yeah, Kana just teleported back, so this is not optimal.
The wave's in a terrible spot. He can't teleport anywhere else, really, but Shiu's on top of his teleport ward, and he just loses all of his health, and because he doesn't have TP, if he's forced to back here, Zastra's
Prison goes down. Lucid does get the win, becomes lightning, but does not manage to catch out the Annie before she gets underneath the turret.
And this pre-6 Wukong just isn't able to do a whole lot. Yike's getting pushed out of his own jungle now. Here's the Realm Warp.
Yeah, Showmaker getting himself into position as Yike can
Wah,
get
anjir,
out.
tengah
It's a
itu.
little bit of a cute play, but it does not catch Lucid out. Showmaker going to pick up the third kill for D+ Kia.
DK have full control of the map. They utilize Showmaker's prio. Yike wants to try to bait them a little bit. Is not willing to flash immediately, and he ends up dying for it. Lucid trades the flash. And KC, it just feels suffocating. It feels like they're not able to find any angle as DK shuts the door again and again and again.
It's just understanding of pressure and control, right? You know, they push the Annie out, and they're like, well, guess there's a Wukong in here, doesn't have Cyclone. And he avoids the knockup. Where is he gonna go? Showmaker gets the root. He is just locked up, forced to flash the wall, and Lucid is there. Showmaker picks up the kill. So you got 2 kills on the Zen. Now the Rise is starting to get online.
I also think they saw the Warrior Trickster go on cooldown, so they were never actually tricked out of position. You could see like there was no hesitation. Like Lucid was in there with that audacious charge, and as soon as the Wukong was in range, it's a little bit unfortunate that Yike was on vision when he did press that button. It's now Shiu pushing Kana away, does have that Negatron cloak now. It's only going to get worse as he builds towards that Kaenic Rookern as item number 1 for this Cassante. As Yehu does find the stun. Tibbers is out here being annoying as Busio spotting Korea. Now Smash with the on the hunt, looking to chase down Kalist, moving back towards his turret, but these feathers do go down. Oh, the boomerang comes back, and Kalist is just dead. Korea also able to battle dance his way out of danger. Oh my goodness, DK is just kind of messing with him now.
And Kalist was so close to level 6. He needed one more minion, but that was all Smash needed to all in. Doesn't get hit by nearly enough feathers, and he just takes down Kalist, and the game is starting to feel over for KC.
He knows Kalist doesn't have any way to get out of here either. You know, he doesn't have flash, so he's just stuck. All he can do is try to kite back, but he just doesn't have the numbers, just frankly. It's just simply 280 carries hitting each other, and Smash is the stronger one.
Yeah, and also, he just kites to the side, right? All of these feathers that were landing on the ground, nothing that Kalist could do. And what you need in that moment is the flash, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't have that flash up and available to reposition those feathers and make the outplay.
Feeling dire for KC. There's no other way to put it. I feel like we're starting to see the fight go out in them. They're not able to play the matchups how they would want to. This bot lane, it should be stable. It should be a chill matchup.
Not looking very chill.
It's only Kana who's got the control. His only Kana is the lead. It's a 14 goal lead. it's something. But D+ are just in so much control of the map, and they have been able to keep. I mean, all 3 games will look like this when they get a little bit of control. They turn it into a ton of control. Now Yike pushed away again on this Gromp. It's rinse and repeat. This is where Lucid started his career with Prio in challengers.
Yeah, in the enemy jungle. That's where he started his career. Well, you're exactly right.
Like the Elise in the past, he would just say, all right, well, my bottom lane's pushing. I'm in your jungle, and I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to dive you. This is his bread and butter.
And he was already stealing away the blue buff. He didn't need to also take the Gromp.
What about taking the bot duo?
Well, that's what they're looking for now. Let's see whether Lucid can find the angle. And Busio, he's going to be his first target.
Here comes Showmaker.
Comes in. There is the Realm Warp that you were talking about. Connects the cube, it doesn't get too much more, but the Ghost has to be invested from Kalist. And this entire time, minions are just dying underneath turrets. There's just not a whole lot that can be gained here from this bottom lane.
Get the grubs, I guess, on the cross map. What else can you really get? What else can you really do in this game? A little bit of a push here for Yehu as well. Trying to get some plate gold back while Showmaker Realm Warps over. He has a little bit of extra free time here. It is a dominant early game for D+ Kia.
Yeah, Kalist is bleeding. at least they get the 3 grubs, but it's not the cross map that you were looking for. It's 4 kills for DK, full control of every lane. Shiwu getting that 14 gold lead back.
This is not the D+ gear I was expecting to see this tournament. And even after they managed to get the upset over BLG, I was like, well, it's D+, you know, consistency doesn't really happen. This has been pure consistency throughout this series so far.
And DK just looked a class above KC today.
But KC looked a class above T1. They've looked a class above so many teams that they shouldn't have. AGAL just crumbled at the hands of this team. And it felt to me like this was going to be a little bit more of a back and forth, but as we've seen so far, D+ Kia just absolute dominance.
And it's a game that leaves you a little speechless, I think, if you are a KC fan, because I think many KC fans didn't expect them to beat T1, but got hyped by it, looked into this finals thinking, well, maybe it lightning strikes twice. But after game 2, it felt like everything was just down to the wire, down to one more chance, one more desperate game. And now you're 2K gold behind 10.5 minutes, and your bottom lane's in tatters. Feels like there's no hope left. This arena is silent. Yike is pushed again off the grop 3 times in a row.
Oh no, Shu looking for the all-out here as he pulls Canner away. Can Canner actually escape? That is the question, or does he need to as he equalizes a decent spot? With the flash to follow there, gets the flash out of Canner, and he will be able to make it out alive. No flashes, no ultimates up and available for our top laners now.
Flash for flash on top. I think it favors Shiu. Now they can look to dive Kana more easily. The problem is, due to how bot lane is going, it's so easy for DK to just push mid, have Showmaker roam, and then Kalist is continuously losing minions. The gold lead hasn't ballooned too much though. He was down 500 gold 5 minutes ago, and the fact that that has stayed at only 500 gold, it is some positive
silver
news.
Lining.
Silver lining.
It's some strong copium, yeah. I wanted to, I want more games. I want this to be a better series.
I mean, when I came into today, I thought, okay, maybe it's like 60-40 for DK.
I didn't think we get a 3-0. I didn't think that was, like, I would have thought any other scoreline on either side. I just thought no matter what, even if KC popped off with the French crowd there, they were the ones up 2-0. I thought there's no way the series is 3-0. And we're looking at it right now. It's not over. But we need something to change here. There's so much wave clear for D+ to control the map too with Ryze and Sivir. You're always going to be first on the play. You're always going to be first on the objective.
And it empowers Lucid so much as well, right? He's got his Titanic Hydra now. He will be evaporating the jungle over and over again. And it means that that lead that he's put together already is only going to compound because now he can get into Yike's jungle and put him further and further behind. There's a Malignance dump. There is a Trinity Force here for this Wukong, who has found level 8. So the Cyclone Tibbers combo could be coming in here for KC, but they're going to need to get that one done as quickly as possible. Find themselves an angle to fight for something here in this game.
It feels like DK, they're just building the snowball, and KC either need to smash the snowball, make them stumble,
melt it. You can
melt it. Yeah.
I mean, he's got so much mid control. He's trying to decide: do we want to make a play on the Rumble? Do we want to make a play on the bottom lane with my Realm Warp? So much control. Trying to get information on where Yike is to make that right call, to be able to defend anything he wants to set up with this Cyclone. I think we've even seen a Cyclone this game.
Oh dear,
Lucio
now in so much trouble. Does crash away from the situation, but Showmaker, he is closing in. There are 3 people around him. There's the equalizer from Canna. Maybe an opportunity for KC as somehow Smash is just solo killed on the other side of the map, and now both AD carries are dead. Korea not finding the angle here though, and now Lucid gonna need to try and get this fight going in his direction. And in fact, he kind of is.
Busio.
There's the Magnet Storm from Busio though. Wind doesn't become lightning. It is going to be Busio falling, but he'll take so much more for the trouble. And KC will come alive.
Finally! They finally smashed the snowball from DK that they were slowly building up. And it's so much of it came from Kalist somehow finding the 1v1 against Smash.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look at that replay for sure. And it's Busio who closes the door on the fight after initially being the one who was caught. So some serious redemption there, but it's all about Kalist. If Smash is alive for that skirmish, there's not a prayer for KC to win it.
Walking into Yike's jungle, trying to scare him away. Neither top laner wants to be in top here.
Yeah, Shiu just kind of on walkabout at the moment. And let's have a look at how this one all happened.
Maybe he gets the... Oh, he just wins the 1v1. Auto for auto.
Ulti. Spell shield on the ulti, but just has the damage.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation there from Smash. Unfortunately, missing that initial boomerang really was problematic.
Lucio's the initial one who's caught here, but he has Yike to back him up, and they're being sandwiched with the positioning. Okay, we have a fight live.
Yeah, that is, yeah, Shiu is just looking for an angle, and he does find it. Just solo kill on a roaming Busio.
Shiu's the secondary jungler in this game, I suppose.
Yeah, we got River Cassante. I've heard of River Shen, haven't heard of River Cassante before, but that is looking a little dangerous.
Smash is getting the mid tower as well. Still a big lead for DK, and they're still remaining in control of this game as they're going to continue now pushing in. They're getting bot tower, they're getting mid tower, picking up a lot of the standing gold. And
That's going to be first turret going over to Showmaker here as well. Nothing Kana can really do. And another one going to fall in that mid lane, you have to think, in a couple of moments as well. As Yahoo here towards the top side, going to try and push Shiu away. Doesn't have the all out at the moment, as he used that to kill Busio just earlier on. Look at this, just a tiny bit of health left on this turret and is basically dead to rights. And the Rift Herald has now spawned. Feels like that little bit of momentum that we saw shift away from D+ Kia kind of being regained as we've hit the neutral once again.
It just feels like KC never get prio. They don't get prio on mid, they're not getting prio on top, they're getting pushed in on bot. And that's been the story of this series. Every single game, especially after the 15-minute mark, DK are just pushing them in every single lane, not allowing them to make any play happen or make any point of pressure.
Yeah, it's just constantly them setting up plays by the fact that they have that priority in the lanes. It means that KC has to play defensively. They did a great job of it previously, as Busio's going to look for a bit of an angle here.
Smash is base. They can look to rush the... Oh, they're keeping...
Shiu is back to the river once again. He got annoyed he was in the bottom lane. There's the Pathmaker, all out, backup and available in 5 seconds time as the feathers get pulled back. See Shiu still wanting to do battle here as we're having a look at the top side of the map a little bit as well, as the Annie and Ryze are still fighting one another. And D+ will be able to push them away from Shelly.
That Cassante is absurdly tanky. He just TP'd into 4 members and he did more damage to Busio than he took himself.
And if his ult was up, it was like Atlas mentioned, was not quite there. He could have actually taken Busio through the wall there.
Yeah.
As Yahoo used his ultimate to push Showmaker back, Showmaker's going to have to TP back into this fight if there's going to be a late contest here. But without the Tibber stun, I don't think that KC should actually commit further, and that's going to be Lucid picking this one up. Because the Cassante is so tanky, he actually went for the Kanavi build here with the Hydra, so he does so much damage and gets on top of any of these squishy targets. KC always going to have to respect this Xin that's got the largest gold lead in the game right now with the early double he picked up.
Yeah, such a good win more build out from the Xin Zhao, who's clear of the jungle, has never been really the fastest.
Who needs help
for this one. And that is the focus on this turret as the teleport is coming through. It's a little bit of a slow one here as Kana will show up. Gets the big old shield though. Shiu just tanking this one up. Yahoo is just dead before he can really do anything. And Shelly takes down the turret. And now Shiu's flashing forward, looking to get on top of Kalist. That is going to be the Realm Warp in. And the quickness picks him up. Smash takes him down. And now KC's
Rata cowok, mau DBU anjing.
Shelly gets another charge. Busio and Kana trying to get out of there, but Lucid will not let them
Wah,
escape.
rata,
That's another
coy.
kill going over to the Xin
Gua lagi
Zhao.
nge-skip,
And D+
sumpah,
Kia,
gua
yes,
lagi
there might have
nge-skip.
been a little fight there, the little hiccup earlier on, but now it's looking all business for them here on the Rift.
And what do? You know, you got a TP to save him, but if you commit the TPs, you commit the fight, and D+ are faster on the rotation, which they are, and the turret is this low, it's just not going to work out. As Yahoo is just caught in this desperate situation. There's a Rift Herald here. I think maybe the play should have been to just let him die, but you're so far behind. I think you're sick of giving D+ everything on the map, but they give them the turret, they give them multiple kills as a result. The Realm Warp to follow from Showmaker, and this feels like the beginning of the end of our EWC finals.
And both Kalist and Yahoo there got CC chained before they got to use their ultimates. Both carries got shut down by DK without having the impact that they needed to try to make a comeback fight for a KC happen. You can see the desperation, the
frustration.
The frustration.
It's almost like, you know, what am I supposed to do here, you know?
Yeah.
And with Featherstorm not really having an angle of all that effective use anyway,
this org
makes things so hard.
has lost the finals last year to the LCK at first stand. They were one of the underdog stories there.
Yeah.
And here coming in, a lot of momentum. Not even getting the game they got over Honolulu Life Esports last year.
Oh, Korea looking for an angle here. Does just get on top of yaaa. Once again, down without the bear. And Yike trying to do some work here. The bear will fall. And a little bit of a lie there. The Tibbers was released out as now Equalizer goes down. But look at this. Canna is just limping towards this inner turret. Lucid making his way over. And at least KC will not lose any more than that. But the bounties are up. It's an 8,000 gold lead as we crest the 20-minute mark. D+ are looking for a clean sweep here in this final, as they'll grab Soul Point as well, as Mountain Soul comes up. And man, if Mountain Soul is ever picked up by this team, I mean, it's already looking pretty over. That's really over if they get the next break in 5 minutes time.
DK have shut down all the hopes of KC, and especially now with the Nash respawning as well. It's so easy for them to just, they can kind of do whatever they want, to be honest. They can go into KC's jungle, they can take all of Yike's camps, they can stop KC from ever entering, they can start the Nash if they want, or they can just stall for the Soul. There's really no wrong play for them. And KC needs to be the one to
trying to make some proactive play, but with no vision, with no control. D+ basically have map hacks so they can see everything you're doing. Look at the wards they have.
And Career can just walk up like this with no threat on him.
From the bottom lane to the top, there's just a line of wards halfway from Baron to the base of KC. There's no flanks, there's nothing allowed. And D+ can put their eyes on the Baron here at 21 minutes. They have so much damage. This Ryze doesn't have third item just yet. His Rod isn't even completed, but they do just have enough, I think, at this point to start considering that Baron take. yaaa here trying to stay and look for a pick.
Yeah, he does throw the bear down, but Lucid just ignores it. There's the Crescent Guard, as now Yike feels like he's a little bit too far forward. The Realm Warp as Showmaker is going to join the fight as the Feathers get pulled back, and KC will be able to hold them at bay at least for the moment. Teleport up here from yaaa, but you can see Shu, he's on this bottom side of the map. KC going to have to go back and deal with this Cassante as well. And it feels like KC just needs to be too many places at once.
It's really frustrating to play this one out. Can't find anything.
DK are just a step above. They've shown their skill in the laning phase and how well they were able to transfer it into the game, not giving any angle. We've barely even had a real team fight. We had like 2.5 over the course of this series because it's just been DK dominating.
It's never been a fair fight.
Yeah.
Never, ever a fair fight.
Apart from that weird moment where Kalist solo killed Smash.
That's true.
That was the best fight they got. And even that wasn't a huge win.
And now Smash is 2 levels up, or at least was a few moments ago, has his 3 items completed. And D+, I think it's Baron time. That's what they're considering, and Smash's Sivir just does so much damage. The rest of DK, they can just play defense.
Shiu has TP advantage. Kana can't even TP to this Baron if he wanted to. He's just gonna have to back normally. Here's the Cassante to hold the line and keep Yike out with Career and Showmaker on this flank. It's just gone.
It's going to have to be perfect, but it doesn't even matter. The Baron is going to be taken here as KC looking for a potential team fight. There's a Magnus Storm just onto Showmaker to try and escape, and the all-out brings Shiu in there. It's a decent position on this Equalizer, though. The problem is the wallets are just way too heavy. Lucid dashing on forward as Canna gets into the base gate and tries to keep himself alive. There's a Crescent Guard, and Lucid says, good night, Rumble.
Oh my God, he lives.
Busio going to be able to get out of there, but that top laner not going to survive. And D+ Kia with their new Baron are going to push towards the KC base.
Yesterday, after getting the upset win over T1, KC's players were on the floor with joy, but in this series, DK is putting their bodies on the floor in these team fights. It's not close. They can only look with their binoculars at the Baron pit. They're not able to get into touching distance, nowhere near in this fight. It's an amazing equalizer, and in a closer game state, maybe that could have been the difference maker, but not in this game 3 of the Grand Finals.
But the fact that Lucid 1v3s this with the Sundered Sky procs, gets the triumph.
What are you gonna
Unreal. He has GA now. He's soon to have a Mountain Soul.
KC, they can defend this inner turret at least for the moment. You were talking about a walk 1 minute until that Mountain Soul is on the Rift. We'll see whether this game even lasts that long, as DK do want to utilize this Baron. 3,500 gold already in that power play, as they are ahead 12,000. Exactly right. It's so much more money here for DK, as in goes Lucid one more time. He's got GA, and so he can actually go down in this battle, as Smash is just going to solo out Yehu on the backside of the fight. Showmaker takes out Yike here, as they're looking to break open the base. Lucio trying to canter away, and Canner at least gets the dash cannon out, but Showmaker still
money. Cling, with Arab.
Cling. Of sweeping the grand final here at EWC 2026.
There's nothing left in the tank. Yehu's down for 25. Lucio's looking for a flank angle here to try to buy some space.
He wants to pull the wave.
Pull it.
He's able to do so. 15 seconds on Yehu, 10 on Yike.
Yeah, sidesteps the grand entrance quite nicely here. And at least D+ are forced to go back. But the problem is, they're forced to go back to a Mountain Soul, which is going to make this game even more impossible.
Showmaker's just having fun. Look at him on the player cam. He already knows he can see the trophy that he's got. Oh, he can see it in his mind's eye.
He's got his library card out, man. He's like, oh, I'm ready to borrow some books. Everyone's staying quite quiet in here.
Smash looks emotional. He's had an amazing tournament. A big front runner to pick up EWC MVP if they could close this one out. And Smash is level 16. He's so massive here that when Yehu shows up to try to look for the flank, he says thank you for the freebie, and just turns around onto Yehu and deletes him.
And Casey, they want to abuse the fact that DK was playing on all 3 lanes, but Lucid lives so long. He has the GA and buys so much time with the Sinsao ultimate as well. And then, as you say, Wolf, the fact that the Andy loses 1v1 to the Sivir, they're just having fun.
This is the most terrifying version of Showmaker, by the way, everyone. I don't know whether anyone else's memory goes back the 6 years to when he was the world champion, but that's what he was doing then as well. Just cackling on the stage while he's breaking the dreams of his opposition. Xiu now pushing in towards this top lane inhibitor turret. And in theory, Casey's Nexus is still up, but it feels like it's only a matter of time.
They cleared this wave.
Plus Kia are just going to knock it down.
The super minions are crashing into the base in the mid lane, though. Now they're looking for a pick on the Busio.
Yeah, Busio going to get that Magnet Storm off. Yehu's still a little ways away. Busio going to fall, but they've taken down Kalista already. The clone is going to fall. Yike is going to get caught in the offside of the fight, though. Showmaker gives him another thumbs up. It's a triple and an ace here for D+.
Dapat duit, bos.
Done it just before they were celebrating that they made it to 5th place in the LCK, and now they are the EWC 2026 winners.
A well-deserved celebration. The second that ace came across, they were high-fiving across the line, but I think they knew 20 minutes ago that this was gonna be their title, but they didn't mess it up. They didn't make any mistakes. They were oppressive in this series.
What an unbelievable performance from D+ Kia, your unlikely heroes. The 3rd LCK team to lift this trophy, and they keep it in Korea. Now it is time to throw over to Ian on the stage.
This has just been an incredible journey full of surprise. And this has been such a dominant performance, and look what it means to each of the players. Before you have the opportunity that you deserve to raise the trophy high in the air, there's one last piece of business that we need to complete, and that is to crush the final key for League of Legends at the Esports World Cup. Gentlemen, it's part of the process, it's tough. One of you needs to step up to do this, but before you do, I think Lou is standing by just briefly before we wrap this up.
Yes, Ian, I am with some DK fans real quick. What do you want to tell your champion? DK! DK! Yeah, they're ready for that crush, Ian.
The time has come. The brutality of EWC in full effect as Korea steps forward here to crush the key. Carmine Corp's key will be crushed in front of their adoring fans. hands.
Wah. Juara coy, gila. Mau DBU
But
anjir.
such a dominant performance from DK. In front of this sold-out crowd at the FTC Arena, there's only one thing left to do, and that is lift the trophy that is rightfully yours. Place the key inside of it and shoot it high in the air.
Mesdames et messieurs, D+Kia sont vos grands gagnants de l'EWC League of Legends.
Your League of Legends and the Esports World Cup winners, D+Kia!
Congratulations, évidemment, encore un grand bravo à D+Kia qui sont vos grands gagnants de l'EWC Showmaker. Wow, Chukao, congratulations. Since 2021, you couldn't reach an international final. You come back here in Paris 5 years later and you lift the trophy. So what does it mean to you and what are you the proudest of in this journey?
일단 쇼메이커 선수 우승 정말 축하드리고요. 질문은 21년도 월즈 이후에 5년 만에 다시 결승에 올라와서 우승을 다시 한번 들어올리시게 됐습니다. 지금까지 정말 고생이 많으셨을 텐데 지금까지 왔던 순간 그 여정 중에서 정말 가장 자랑스러운 그 면모가 무엇인지 궁금하고요. 순간이 무엇인지 궁금하고요. 그리고 기분이 어떠신지 궁금합니다. 일단 네, 이렇게 5년 만에 국제전 결승에 왔는데 우승해서 너무 행복하고 또 네, 오늘 지금 이 순간이 제일 자랑스러운 것 같습니다. Yeah, I mean it's been 5 years since the international stage, and yeah, I mean I still feel so proud of myself. I'm just excited right now.
Just excited, we can get a lot of emotions, effectivement. Ça fait 5 ans que Showmaker n'a pas joué une finale internationale. Il arrive à Paris, il la gagne, et ce qu'il nous répond, c'est qu'il est trop content, il est débordé évidemment par ses émotions, et il est effectivement enfin soulagé de gagner ce trophée.
Maddox, come and join me over here just for a moment. Korea. Listen to this crowd. Hey, make some noise for Korea right now. This is being described as a Cinderella run, a fairy tale, but it was such a dominant grand final. When did this dream feel like a reality for you?
정말 많은 사람들이 꿈만 같은 정말 신데렐라 스토리 같은 얘기를 하는데 결승에서 정말 압도적으로 3대0으로 이기시면서 정말 강력한 면모 보이셨습니다. 그럼 어느 순간에 우승이 가까워졌다라는 생각이 드셨는지 궁금합니다.
일단 초반 바텀 라인전에서 너무 잘 풀려가지고 그때 3세트인데 이렇게 잘 풀렸다 해가지고 심지어 자신 있는 챔을 잡았어가지고 이거 이 판 내가 캐리할 만하다 이겼다라고 생각했던 것 같습니다.
In the early phase of the bot lane, I initially realized that like our first kills came out there in the game 3. Yeah, we were up 2-0. We had a great start. I'm in a champion that I'm confident of. That's what's the moment I felt I won.
Phenomenal. Paris, question. Who do you think is MVP?
It's time to announce our Sony MVP of the EWC League of Legends. Congratulations, Smash! You are the MVP!
Oh ya, Smash kuat dulu. Dikit dengan
Congratulations for such an incredible performance. I want to know, how do you feel right now? How did you manage to reach that top level of the world in League of Legends?
지금 이렇게 정상에 서신 소감이 어떠신지 정말 궁금합니다.
일단 너무 행복하고요. 이렇게 제가 오늘 생일인데 이렇게 MVP까지 받고 너무 가장 기억에 남는 생일일 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I'm so excited right now. I'm so happy. And this is my birthday today in Korea. Yeah, this is phenomenal birthday.
Happy birthday!
Un joyeux anniversaire puisque en Corée, c'est déjà son anniversaire. Alors mesdames et messieurs, je vais vous proposer de chanter un joyeux anniversaire à Smash en français tous ensemble. Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire.
Wow, talk about a birthday gift. 20 years old. Congratulations, Smash, once again, our Sony MVP. Now we've crushed the key. We've raised the trophy. There's only one thing left to do, Lou.
Pilih
Gentlemen,
tiga
you need
tim.
to go to the totem.
이제 토템으로 가셔서 이제 본인의 이름을 새길 시간입니다. 앞으로 가시죠.
Please take the trophy with you as well.
You can bring the trophy with you as well.
트로피
To the
가져가시고요.
totem. It's gonna be the moment that T plus Kia writes their name on the wall in the history of the EWC, mesdames et messieurs. Encore une fois, faites du
Kiring boy. Jadinya nih boy.
And finally, potential realized here for D plus Kia in a dominant 3-0 fashion. The players on the Rift, the Blue Wall themselves, could not stop this young squad with their superstar veteran of getting it done and becoming the third ever winner at EWC of League of Legends.
I think there was a lot of doubt for this team, this organization coming into this tournament. But today there was no doubt. A 3-0 victory, so decisive. And for this young squad alongside this veteran in the mid lane, this is really such a huge achievement for these players.
It feels bad for Fresh, but I gotta speak out. This is the moment when we waiting for DK. And now they're here to mark their words, mark their team name in the history.
So what a perfect day for Smash. His birthday back in Korea, gets the win, puts DK back on the map for internationals, gets the MVP here. What an insane performance throughout the tournament, and also shutting down, going through some of the strongest bot lanes in the world, from BLG to Gen G. And now in the finals as well versus KC and Kalisto have been doing so well. They've taken down every single strong bot lane in the world.
Chiwoo, Lucid, Showmaker, Smash, and Career. D plus Kia will pick their keys at the totem.
And they have arrived. As they choose the three teams, they are going to add to their trophy.
Tuan dong. Tuan dong.
Congratulations. Happy for you guys. Which three teams are you going to be adding
Tuan, Genji, Belgi.
to your trophy?
Tuan, HLE, Belgi.
First team? Oh, yeah, first team.
First team?
To the guy in the suit.
All three. All black. It's going to be all three.
BLG.
BLG.
BLG, let's go.
And who will be the next two?
Tuan, Genji. Genji anjir. Satu lagi?
And finally,
KC.
마지막 팀을 골라주세요. Carmine Core.
Now, why were those three specifically the ones you chose to select?
이 세 팀을 고르신 이유를 일단은 듣고 싶습니다.
저희가 토너먼트 8강전부터 만나왔던 팀들이었기 때문에 그래서 BLG, 젠지, KC 순으로 골랐어요.
Yeah, those three were the opponents on the playoffs from the start. So yeah, we chose BLG, Gen G, and KC in a row.
Now the fans really showed out for you guys here. I know you were getting booed. There was a lot of KC fans. Your fans were almost as loud as they were. Little in numbers, loud in voice. How do you feel about that?
사실 정말 많은 KC 응원단 앞에서도 사실 기죽지 않고 정말 D+ 기아를 응원해주신 많은 팬분들이 파리의 현장에 계셨거든요. 그래서 그 부분이 좀 어떠셨는지 궁금합니다.
경기장 들어올 때부터 KC 팬분들께서 야유가 심하시더라고요. 근데 뭔가 그런 부분에서 저는 저 팬분들을 이제 DK 팬으로 만들 수 있다는 자신감이 있어가지고 그래가지고 좀 뭔가 마음이 계속 설레면서 게임했던 것 같아요.
You know, there were a lot of booings before the entrance. However, I just enjoyed it because it's so exciting to just feel that turning the KC crowd into us would be possible. And I was confident with it.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you guys. And with that being said, you can now place your trophy atop the totem.
이제 토템을 바로 새길 시간입니다. 바로 앞으로 가시죠.
Let's go. Tem nama dia D+ Kia cuy. Gila, siapa sangka kira Tuan, ALG, BLG.
It's been a long road here for Showmaker since the last time that he's lifted a major trophy. Time and time again, he's risen up alongside multiple different teammates and has fallen short. They've rebuilt with Lucid, with Career, with Smash, and with Shiwu. They come in to EWC 2026 as major underdogs, even in the qualifiers. But the ingenuity through draft picks, through grit, through comebacks, and now through class has led them to this moment, to the totem of the Esports World Cup. In 2026, they etched their names in the echelons of history. D+ Kia, your 2026 EWC winners!
Nggak boleh. Salah.
In the totem. Their key put into the game trophy. As they lift it one more time, the winners of 2026 EWC League of Legends. It is D+ Kia.
I cannot think of a team who's had to overcome so many trials to get to this point. Moments like Career, tears in his eyes when they went up against Team 1 in the LCK Cup, but managed to overcome that and fight back. And this is a team of fighters who've gotten to this point, who've gotten to the finals and won this trophy on the back of grit and determination.
This is probably the ending of D+ Kia. Like they were thinking about it at the beginning of the season, but maybe it's another start of D+ Kia rising up once again with Showmaker with this wrestling.
Redemption then for their perseverance, for bringing this squad together. Showmaker sighing a big sigh of relief when it ended. And also big props to Lucid for always being so confident in his picks of the teams, of the pieces that they left behind, that D+ Kia made them leave behind.
Once again, your 2026 EWC League of Legends title winners, alongside their staff, say their name, and it will say on for history, it is D+ Kia.
Orang bilang kesetiaan hacker ya dong. Yaps, itu dia. Kita hari ini sudah bikin game juga, kita lancarkan streamnya guys. Tapi aman. Bukan tentang game sekian. Kita udah belajar aja guys. Gue belajar. Juga ada jam lebih kan. Ini nomor error juga di sana. Tapi jauh ke berapa coba sih game. Udah paling bagus ya. Gue sumpah ya. Itu kalau ada kamera itu bagus. Ya itu bagus. Ini semua teman-teman. Like, subscribe. Picture,